All right, welcome in to the watch with us for Texas, Kentucky. Aaron Hogan will be joining us here shortly. He is at an event, a tailgate event, so he'll be joining us in a few minutes. And obviously, you guys just saw Florida picked off Ole Miss again to end this game. Jackson Dart with a true third-year starting quarterback meltdown in the last 5 minutes of this game. The first pick, triple coverage, ball should have never been thrown. Unbelievable. Took a sack. Even though he was scrambling, you have to throw that ball away with no timeouts. He just narrowly missed a pick earlier. Now, then he just threw a pick again. Now he's got some tears, a true meltdown. That's not your NFL tape you want as we get ready here for Texas, Kentucky, guys. Obviously, just did a bit of a. They're gonna. Did he not catch this? Let's see. They're in reviewing it, correct?
Yeah, I think complete here.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to hit the ground. So, by the way, my feed is going to be running a little bit behind you guys in the chat, I believe. So, y'all can just do the watch with us, and I'll watch what y'all say for a couple of minutes here until Aaron gets in. But Joseph Mbaktu, if you missed that, commits to the University of Texas, third defensive lineman in the class. I've seen some comments up here that Jamie French is going to flip to Florida. I wouldn't say that. I think Jamie's happy with his commitment. But, hey, look. 10 days till sign today. JB's like French and Charles probably leaving for Florida. These kids they don't really make decisions based off a game. NIL is way bigger than any game these days in college football, a win or a loss. So we'll have to see. 10 days left until signing day. So we'll see what kind of run everybody makes these guys. But Jamie French and Myron Charles being in Austin is a really good sign for the Horns, guys. So we shall see, but it looks like it's going to be incomplete. So Jackson Dart's got to dry his tears and get back out there and throw another interception. We'll see what happens here at the end of this game. So Matthew, do we have a kick time yet? Do we have a kick time yet on the for ESPN News or anything, producer Matt? Okay, I'm going to say no on that. So. Eric Reese, I don't know what to say about Jackson Dart. It was a huge meltdown, man. I mean, it was a huge melt. Oh, there he goes. There it is. See? He didn't have time to dry his tears. Jackson Dart mentally literally went in the tank with 5 minutes to go in this game. That is one of the worst periods of quarterback play I have ever seen from a third-year starting quarterback. I hate to be mean to this kid. He's a good kid. I loved his interview at SEC Media Day. But this is one of the all-time meltdowns I've seen from a third-year starting quarterback late in the game. Unbelievable. Ole Miss had actually dominated this game statistically in a lot of ways, had some drops early. But, I mean, Jackson Dart, wow. This will take you out of the playoffs. I mean, they're done now, obviously, but what a rough ending to his career. Essentially, they got Mississippi State, but wow, this is as bad as it gets. I mean, he was just throwing the ball up for grabs the last 5 minutes of this game. That first interception in the triple coverage, that was one of the worst interceptions you'll see from a third-year starting quarterback. Comes back again. He took a sack trying to stay up when he should have thrown it away. Throws a pick. It's reversed. Comes back in. Throws a pick. Man, that'll make you think about another sport is what that'll do. So Ole Miss is out. Lane Kiffin, that's a bad loss for Ole Miss. Look, Ole Miss put everything in NIL into the transfer portal, knowing that they had a real shot going into this 12-team playoff. Best pass rush team in the country. Ole Miss averaging about 5 sacks a game, but not enough tonight. Outgained Ole Miss, outgained Florida by probably 70 yards in this game, maybe 80. We shall see what happens. JB asks, JB, you're having fun in the chat. Has Hilson committed to Michigan? I think JB, if you're a Texas fan, you got to chill. If you're not a Texas fan, I'm having fun with your comments. But so Billy Napier. Off the hot seat, right? Beat LSU, beat Ole Miss back-to-back weeks. Now he goes to FSU next week for the big rivalry game. FSU rolling over College of Georgia Southern, right? Not Georgia Southern. whoever they're playing right now. Sorry, but we're still 9 minutes out from this game right now. So Aaron Hogan should be joining us soon. I wanted to go ahead and get this started. So we'll just take some questions right now. Lane Kiffin in shambles. Yes. Hey, Curtis Oser, here's your comment. Florida is now a quality win for the Texas Longhorns because they beat LSU and Ole Miss back-to-back. That will help Texas strength the schedule, by the way. That will help Texas strength the schedule. So it was 38 before the games today. If Texas handles their business, beats Kentucky, that strength of schedule will go up because of Florida's last 2 weeks, beating LSU last week and then Ole Miss today. Those help that Texas strength of schedules. 9 minutes till game time, guys. Arthur Mills says, what's up from Atlanta? Let's go Horns. Syracuse Horns. I agree with this. Texas offensive line needs to be really good today. Kentucky's got as good an interior defensive lineman as Texas has seen this year. Deion Walker, J.J. Weaver back going to play in this game. Dumas Johnson is solid at middle linebacker. We're watching senior day here as Gunnar Helm runs out onto the field here. Going to be a lot of emotion starting this game. Barron Sorrell, one of the most consistent players I've seen at Texas in a while. Northwestern, one-time commit out of New Orleans. Academic football recruitment all the way. Just develop. This group of seniors. Bobby and I were talking about in the pregame. We mentioned it earlier in the week. This is like a advertisement for player development for Steve Sarkisian in recruiting. Gunner, there's Aaron. Hey, Aaron, how are we doing?
Good. Sorry, a little late. I was doing an interview.
You're good. Hey, if you didn't see the last 5 minutes, Jackson Dart had an all-time meltdown at the quarterback position. Aaron.
And Florida won?
Florida won. Jackson Dart threw a INT in the triple coverage. Should have never been thrown. Florida has to punt. They get the ball back. He takes a half sack when he should have thrown it out of bounds. Ole Miss, and you burn their timeouts. He throws a pick that gets overturned. Okay. He comes back and throws a pick again on the next play, Aaron. One of the all-time meltdowns of a third-year starting quarterback at the end of a game I've ever seen. It's going to be up there.
That is crazy, and that's going to maybe keep them out of the playoff. I mean,
They're
that's
done.
the third loss.
They're done. And Aaron, what we were just talking about too before you popped on is Florida now is helping Texas strength the schedule with wins over LSU and Ole Miss. Two teams Texas doesn't play. That Ole Miss win is going to be really good for Florida. It makes Florida a quality win now, bumps up the Texas strength of schedule.
Yeah, for sure. And, the conversation we've had all week was, you win this game over Kentucky, take care of your business. The A&M game is a must win. Well, now, you still want to go beat the Aggies, get the SEC title game, but, that knocking Ole Miss out's big for Texas and Texas A&M, I believe, and certainly for Tennessee. So Texas just has to keep winning, and they're going to be fine. And you're right about that Florida strength of schedule, huge for the Longhorns to have put, just hammered Florida. Now, DJ Lagway didn't play in that game, we know, but still 49 points against that Florida defense that was banged up at the time. But, yeah, that really helps the strength of schedule. And give Billy Napier some credit. That team's fighting to the end. They gave him the old vote of confidence. I know they're still recruiting like crazy as well, but Billy Napier is doing a pretty good job here with the toughest schedule some believe in the history of college football.
Yes. I mean, it looked that way before the season, but FSU being a 2-9 type of team has certainly taken a little bit off that trajectory. But as far as a week in, week out schedule, Florida had about as tough a schedule as you could have this year, especially with A&M ending up being better than anticipated before the season. Obviously, some of those things even out, LSU not playing as well. But that brutally tough schedule for Florida this year. And Billy Napier, if he goes in and wins in Tallahassee, and I think he's already saved the job, he ends up 7-5 and has a chance to be ranked at the end of the year. So somebody El Guapo asked, I hope it doesn't hurt Texas with recruits. Look, Jamie French on campus today, Myron Charles on campus today. I don't think now Kellen Wiley, the linebacker from Armwood, being at Florida today. We'll see what happens. This has been as wild of the last few days in recruiting as I can remember in my years doing this, and we still have 10 days to signing day. I think it's all the NIL movement at the end here, late, Aaron. And then you also have, I think some of these schools are looking at this saying, we have profit sharing coming soon. I think it's going to be what the case may be closed with the NCAA in mid-April, profit sharing possibly in July. this may be your last run while it's still the wild, wild west for teams. So it's going to be interesting to see here what happens. But recruiting has been tremendously crazy in the last few days. And I expect this closing stretch to December 4th to be more of the same.
Yeah, that house settlement will be intact. And that's one of the reasons I've argued that, it's going to be hard to fire a coach these days.
Yeah.
We have to change the paradigm. We have to wait. If you're going to fire a coach, we have to wait till, January or February to make that move. And, I know that's kind of underhanded to players that are committing, but man, you just can't leave your program out there like a piece of roadkill to be, picked apart by, the portal poachers. And obviously your high school class, you need to solidify that. So I think that's where Florida was pretty wise. And then you would have a program like, Brett Venables in Oklahoma. If they get hammered by Alabama tonight, there's going to be calls for him. But, Lincoln Riley at USC, that's tough to do right now, though, with the money it's going to cost you to buy everybody out, and then what's coming with profit sharing, and also just the damage it does to your roster in the short term, in the near term. But as for this game here, Jerry, the Kentucky Wildcats, they like to win with their defense and their special teams. They want to win those two phases and then hold on offensively. How does Texas not get drug into that bare knuckle brawl that Mark Stoops wants?
For me, it's first. I think everything in this game for Texas is first down run defense, first down defense. If you can get Kentucky in the third and longs or behind chains, they're going to have a tough time. And then on the other side of the football, I really think it's going to be interesting to see how Texas attacks Kentucky. Kentucky can rush the passer a little bit, especially if J.J. Weaver's healthy enough. But I think there's some susceptibility to throws in the intermediate game against Kentucky. So let's see here what Sark has dialed up in his script early on. It'll be very telling. But first down defense is huge for Texas today, because if Kentucky can get to the third and twos, they're going to run counter. They're going to run power at you, right? And they have a chance to move some chains, run some clock, get into a lower possession game. If you can stymie them, if you can win on first down, that changes their calculus quite a bit. And Vandergriff has made mistakes this year in the passing game. Their offensive line has mightily struggled in pass protection. And then Barry Brown has been inconsistent with his hands, as talented as he is physically.
All right, there you see it. Kentucky won the toss, has deferred to the second half. Texas will receive the opening kickoff and face that, as Sark called it, good-looking Kentucky defense. They've got NFL players on that side of the ball.
Yes,
Their D-line really good. They can harass you and get after it. So we'll see this Texas team with the ball in our first quarter, which is brought to you by our friends at ATX Trees. Albert Cedillo and the team. We'll tell you all about them throughout the first quarter, atxtrees.com. Jerry, I was emceeing an event downtown, interviewing Jamal Charles and talking to a Texas legend, and man, I still made it for kickoff. Well, that's good. I like that Ole Miss game went along. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing, and here we are. We're ready to roll here. Hey, look, somebody in the stadium, Aaron, told me up to 20,000 Kentucky fans, which means Texas fans sold their tickets. No. 9-1 team ranked 3 in the country. But apparently there's 15 to 20,000 Kentucky fans.
Yeah, this is one of those road trips. You saw a lot of Florida fans too, but the tickets didn't get sold. But, this is a destination trip for people in the SEC on the first year like this. And obviously Kentucky won't be coming next year. Texas will be going to Lexington in year 2 in the SEC. So, yeah, not surprising to see all the blue. They're a basketball school, but more they like their football team too with Mark Stoops. And we'll see where this one goes for the Longhorns. Senior Day, you talked about emotion. I know Rod Babers talks about that all the time. You're getting into your game face mode, and then there's your mom, and you're crying. And I know she's crying, and then you got to get back into the alter ego and get back on the football field. We'll see where the Longhorns go. I also heard on the Third and Longhorn guys, where the podcast they were talking about, they actually loved Senior Day. They were like, man, we were up, we were energetic, we knew it was our last game. So that emotion could go one of two ways. It depends on the player, probably most likely.
Yeah, no, it does. And look, the thing about this, I think helps the Texas seniors in this case, that they have so much on the line. They control their own destiny, right? If you were an 8-3 team right now and you weren't in the playoff hunt, or 7-3 team not in the playoff hunt, I could see it almost getting even more emotional. But I think there's so much on the line for this team, controlling their own destiny. That doesn't mean they didn't get a little emotional, but I think this is there's a lot to play for this Texas team. I think they've had a connectivity and they've been locked in this season. And even through the emotion of this Senior Day, I expect them to be locked in. I just hope Quinn's locked in today.
That's the key. By the way, Kansas just went to the house on the first play of the game, a screen pass. They're going to be up 7-0 on Colorado. We'll keep you posted there. Deion Sanders' team. Kansas has upset back-to-back ranked teams. They're not having a great year, but they've gotten healthy, and they beat Iowa State, and they beat BYU last week, and now they've got 7 on the board against Deion Sanders' crew. So we'll keep an eye there. Also, Penn State playing Minnesota right now. We'll get you scores as we go. But there's our opening kickoff. And the Longhorns will begin at the 25-yard line. You said the key. Obviously, it's been the big conversation all week. It always is. There'll be a conversation, Quinn Ewers, and which Quinn do you get? I do believe, Jerry, we talked on the radio show this week, Texas leads the nation in explosive plays allowed defensively, and they're third in the nation in total offensive explosive plays, so 2-yard plays of 20 yards or more. So they have explosive plays. They're great on defensive efficiency. And what Sark said coming out of that second bye week is we want to lead the nation in turnover margin the rest of the way. If we do that, we're going to be right where we want to be. And I think that's part of where Quinn, being a little hesitant, he doesn't want to put the ball in jeopardy. He'd rather, maybe take a sack than do that, kind of being instructed by Sark. But there's a short gain or no gain on first down.
Yeah, it looks like a -5 here on this first down. Let's see. Kentucky has played a lot of cover 4. They play a lot of cover 4 against Tennessee. I saw good pressure up the middle from Deion Walker right out the bat there, or actually it was maybe a linebacker blitz there. But again, initial pressure really good on the first snap of the game.
Yeah, and 5-yard losses. I just heard Sark's radio interview talking about first down, as you said, first down defense for Texas, but first down offense. They want to stay ahead of the chains, efficient with the ball. You don't want to be in 3rd and longs against this Kentucky group. And it looks like they're going to be here on their first drive after losing 5. And it's about 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11 here on this first third down. Not a good first play, and good defense by Florida on that first play to create a 5-yard loss. Now they've got them right where they want them if you're Mark Stoops.
Yeah, let's see.
Good throw, Quinn. That's a real nice throw out to Matthew Golden. First down on 3rd and 11.
So again, look at that. They're in a cover 4 essentially is what they are. Corners off, cover 4 look. They didn't bring big numbers there. Really good throw by Quinn. Really good start for Quinn there. Now that was a pop throw. Here's the thing about this Kentucky team too. They got some long arms. Now this is a big, long team up front. So if they don't think they can get to the quarterback, they can throw some big old paws up in the air. So, and they attempted to on that play right there. So really good throw by Quinn, movement in the pocket.
Not surprising, Jerry, for folks who were, not in Austin, Texas. Quinn did go through the senior ceremony. Most anticipate this is his final home game in the regular season. So he did go through it like the seniors. So, good to see. Also, it's a beautiful day in Austin, a little bit of a breeze, but man, about 75 degrees. Couldn't ask for better weather for a football game than this one. And after that initial, -5, here goes Texas moving the ball now. Quinn's 2 for 2. They're getting a little run game going. Actually, Quinn's 3 for 3. My bad. As this thing that first play was ruled a pass, so lost 5 yards though. But 3 for 3 for Quinn to start. That's exactly what you want to see. He's stepping into throws already, real confident.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that little downhill run there to Trey Wisner as well. So setting up a makeable here, and Texas has a chance to run the football today, I think, against Kentucky. One thing about Deion Walker, and I noticed this about him against Florida, he will play out of his lanes. He has some undisciplined snaps at times. So I think Texas if they see something, they may run at him, but not at him to run into him, but let him get upfield and take himself out of his gap. Deion Walker may be a first-round pick, but he does not play with great gap control all the time.
There's Matthew Golden down to the 10-yard line. Quinn's now 4 for 4, and Matthew Golden's been his favorite target. That's obviously somebody they're going to go at, but he's already got 3 catches on this drive alone. One was a big 3rd down conversion. That one nearly an explosive play. Yeah, that's an explosive. That's 20 yards, which would be the definition of an explosive play, 20 yards or more, and Longhorns are in the red zone.
That's not good for Kentucky. When you play off like that and give up that much run after the catch, the Kentucky defensive staff's going to be hot.
Yeah,
you cannot play a cover 4 like they are right there and then give up that much after the catch. Bad angle by the corner. You got to turn that back inside. Kentucky defensive staff's going to be just pissed about that. You can't play a cover 4 and give up that after the catch.
Yeah, corner has to be better. You're giving them the short pass, but then you got to rally and tackle, and they did not on that play. If you don't know, Mark Stoops and Steve Sarkisian are very good friends. They've known each other a long, long time. Obviously, one offense, one defense, but mutual respect for both of these guys. And you're right, Mark Stoops is not going to like that explosive play allowed by his cornerback. Here it is. Texas needs to get this one in the end zone, be the exact start they want. Then there's another missed tackle there's Ryan Wingo down to the 2 yard. Now it's probably 2 down territory, Jerry.
No doubt. No doubt it'll be 2 down. Hey, Sark doesn't want to kick field goals inside the 30 anyways. He's going for this if it gets that.
Well, that little spin move by Ryan Wingo right there, the freshman, another missed tackle for Kentucky. I'm sure Mark Stoops is going to have some words with his defense. Yards after catch has been really good for Texas so far, except for that first play. It went for a 5-yard loss. Here's Texas now on 3rd and 2. You can probably expect 2 plays here, or just get it here if you're the Longhorns. Ooh. All right, we'll see what the decision is. Looked like Wisner would have trotted into the end zone. Had Quinn handed it to him.
Yes, he would have.
Yep.
Good coverage there, but yeah, that ball should have handed that one off. Boom.
All right, Gunnar Helm has been the red zone target, and Quinn, good pocket awareness that time. There it is, touchdown Texas. There's the exact drive you wanted. Quinn Ewers 6 for 7, 58 yards and a touchdown. Longhorns go 11 plays and 75 yards. The big conversion on 3rd and 11 on the first part of the drive was huge, and then Quinn got on a roll. Gunnar Helm on senior day, one of the most improved players in the program. Is there a better case study for the development of this program now,
No.
Jerry, than Gunnar Helm?
No, that's what I've said a couple of times this week. This is like what Sark's going to talk about with this group of seniors in the Senior Bowl. The NFL draft is the definition of his player development at Texas. Gunnar Helm, Jake Majors, who had never played center, became in as a center. Jade Barron Sorrell. I mean, this is a class that has really developed well over time under Steve Sarkisian. Number of guys that weren't Gunnar Helm included that were all 3-star players that are about to be drafted. Gunnar Helm, Barron Sorrell, Jade Barron. Jake Majors is a 4-star guy, but had never played center. But this is a class of player development. Even Alfred Collins, because Alfred Collins came out of high school as a tremendous upside prospect at Nick Saban, Oklahoma. Everybody wanted him. But he was still more of a basketball player growing up. His mom played basketball for Jody Conrad. Then football player. He's had to really develop over time as well. Vernon Broughton the same. So this is a player development class for Steve Sarkisian.
No doubt about it. Last year you saw some like 3-and-done guys like Xavier Worthy and Byron Murphy. But even there, you had Jonathan Brooks and guys that, developed in the program. It really is becoming the calling card. That's why, this year is exciting, but the future bright for the Longhorns. They're up 7-0. Our first quarter is brought to you by my friend Bert Cedillo and the team at ATX Trees. If you need mature established trees in your yard, in your property, maybe it's your business and you don't want to wait the decades to get them to grow, they've got them for you. They grow them in their tree farm there at ATX Trees. Tree size is over 30 gallons. These are hard to find. They have over 18 varieties of native trees to Texas in stock and growing and healthy and ready to be plucked up and brought to your house or your property. Delivery, installation, and warranties. It's all free. They take care of those trees. That they're going to treat them like the trees that they've grown. They want to make sure those trees flourish in your yard. It's amazing what it can do when you bring an established tree in. I've told the story a lot here on the watch along. We had a backyard project and we were thinking about a pergola or some type of cover and said, you know what, why don't we get a tree from Albert? And boy, we love it. It looks great. It didn't save money to get a tree that's already established to bring the shade we wanted to the east sun in the mornings. It really is great. It looks great. Kind of goes with the backyard very, very well. And you can do that too. They also have special orders available if you have a request. They'll install it. They'll remove trees too. They'll do trimming and irrigation, and they are experts in the xeriscape game as well. Those native xeriscapes that look amazing and conserve water. Just everything you want. 25 years, a local family company. ATXtrees.com. That's ATXtrees.com. From their tree farm to your home. $749. 5149. They do have a 10% off all phone orders, so call them 749-5149. Albert Cedillo and the team at ATX Trees, our first quarter sponsor. And the first quarter so far off to a good start. Longhorns get the ball. right down the field on 11 plays, sticking the end zone. I thought Quinn looked really, really good on that drive. And we had some comments in there. I mean, that play for the touchdown on fourth down, rolling to his left. That's something, the pocket management, the pocket awareness we talked about at Arkansas last week, Jerry. That's as healthy as we've seen Quinn moving to his left and throwing back to his right.
Yeah, look, the first throw, Matthew Golden was tremendous as well. So Quinn had a very, very solid first drive. And let's just get this out of the way right now, Aaron. If Quinn plays like this today, Kentucky's in trouble. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, if Quinn has an on Quinn day today, Kentucky's in trouble unless Texas has a bunch of defensive busts, which they haven't had this season. So I'm very interested to see now what Kentucky will do. By the way, somebody said Bert Auburn was not introduced as a senior here on Senior Day.
Interesting.
So
I think we talked about that on Tuesday night. He Bert only played a few games as a freshman, so he would have a fifth year if he wants it, and looks like he may plan on coming back. That's great for Texas to have a experienced kicker already in the fold for 2025.
And let's say this, absolutely. Let's say this too: really good pass protection from Texas after the first play, where Kentucky got some real quick pressure on Quinn. After that, pass protection was really good on that drive.
Well, and that to me, I worry about Senior Days, like that first drive, and are they locked in, focused with all the emotion that happens right before the ball game. And certainly Texas was offensively. We'll see about the defense, which has been locked in all year long as the superior defense in the SEC and one of the best in the country. And this is not a great Kentucky offense by any stretch.
Hey, by the way, somebody brought up a great point on Bert Auburn. Where was a Dirk Vader? He is making more money in college. That is true. Bert Auburn is, he's not a lock to be an NFL kicker, right? I'm not sure he has that leg. So he would benefit from NIL probably greatly by coming back for another year.
There's Jamarion Wilcox right up the middle there. Good hole created, and Leonga Lafau got out of the hole there. But that's how good this Texas defense is, Jerry. A run like that, 10 yards, you're like, man, where'd that come from? They almost never do that. But first play worked for Kentucky for sure.
Leonga Lafau, I think, he false stepped right there.
There's Anthony Hill. Anthony Hill with a sack.
So that Leonga Lafau was not gap sound on that first play, gave up the run.
I think Jesse Palmer pointed that out too. But Anthony Hill. I saw where Tim Tebow this morning gave Anthony the Beast of the Week award. He does that every week on the pregame on the SEC Network, and Tebow was praising Anthony Hill. Sark was there talking about that guy's having one heck of a year. He's only a sophomore. It's hard to believe. Yeah, I know. He's setting himself up to be an All-American next year. I think, maybe the older guys get him this year on the All-American first team, but he is going to be preseason first team All-American level player. And it's been a while since Texas had one of those at linebacker, guys. So he is an elite player. Somebody's asking about recruits at the game. Jamie French there, Michael Fasusi there in the 25 class. Obviously, Joseph Mbach, who's committed to Texas. He showed up, canceled that Tennessee visit. We wondered if that was going to happen. Nathaniel Marshall's the surprise visitor. I saw him this morning, and I was trying to see who that actually was. Bobby Burton did a good job finding him on profile photos before we went on with our live, but we were waiting to make sure that was who we thought it was. But Nathaniel Marshall, Auburn commitment, defensive lineman from the Chicago area, elite athlete, big time. Mom was a college basketball player at DePaul. I think grandfather played in the NBA. So he's got those basketball feet, really good jumbo athlete. He's on campus. We'll see what Texas can do there. But a good group, Zealous Hicks official visit this weekend. So number of committed guys here today as well. Great on third down. They go to that NASCAR dime, and you see Colin Simmons that time off the left side. It flushed Brock Vandegrift almost immediately. That right tackle is going to have his hands full with Colin Simmons. I mean, that was not close. No, look, Kentucky offensive tackles, they've given up, not the tackles, but Kentucky's given up 27 sacks in 10 games, now 28 after Anthony Hill. This is not one of the better pass protecting offensive lines in the SEC. And so if Texas can get them in the third and predictables, Texas is going to be able to get pressure without bringing the extra numbers. Yeah, well, I mean, after giving up that 10-yard run on first down, PK dialed up the Anthony Hill, middle blitz, and that pushed it back, and that set them up where they want, right? That first down defense you talk about, Colin Simmons got off the edge on third and 13, and there was no chance. Vandegrift couldn't even get into his progression at that point. So the Longhorns get off the field. Now they get the ball halfway through the first quarter, which is brought to you by ATX Trees and atxtrees.com. So far, so good, Jerry. It's everything you want on this group. And on the recruiting side, this is the finish line. You just said something that piqued my interest. You said that the last week has been as crazy as any you can remember. You've been doing this a long time. Obviously, the Bryce Underwood story, rocking things. What else has really surprised you that you've seen nationally on the recruiting front?
Yeah, it's just you very rarely do 3 5-star quarterbacks make moves 2 weeks out from signing day. Like, that just doesn't happen. And these guys are normally the locked-in recruits, barring a coaching change. But again, I mean, Julian Lewis decommitting from USC, right? That open, and didn't even Deuce Knight in a few weeks before that, flipping from Notre Dame, who was winning games, to Auburn, and now flirting with Ole Miss. Who knows if Deuce Knight's actually done with his recruiting process? But, Julian Lewis backing out of his commitment to USC, then USC flipping A&M commit, Longstreet, who's down the road at St. John Bosco, right? Then Lewis commits to Colorado. Then the whole Underwood saga going to Michigan from LSU. I mean, it's just if this didn't tell you where we're at in the NIL wild west here, and nothing will. I mean, 3 5-star quarterbacks with late movement just doesn't happen very often. Then there's all the kids with after the Underwood flip from Michigan and LSU's bad loss to Florida and Alabama. What's going on with LSU? A number of kids are looking around there. I mean, there's just been a lot going on. FSU struggles this year. Florida's trying to make late runs to keep Texas from getting really good players in the state. Ohio State's had a couple of decommitments. Alabama's had decommitments. They flipped somebody from Michigan. It's been a wild last few weeks, and the last 10 days is going to be crazy, Aaron.
That's crazy. Now, the team I'm watching, if you're Texas and anybody, when LSU gets stung like they did with Underwood, they're going to be going after somebody's committed quarterback, right? I mean, you got to think Brian Kelly's trying to regroup. How does that play out? Yeah,
and problem with him is it's so late. Signing day's 10 days away. I mean, even if you called up KJ Lacey, hey, KJ, you're 10 days out right now.
Yeah.
So that's their problem. It almost pushes you to the portal, but it just takes away your momentum, especially if you're losing games. And now, I don't think LSU's losses would have kept this Underwood flip from happening. That was a massive NIL deal. And I don't think LSU can play in that sandbox to the level of a lot of teams. You saw it with the Dominic Williams recruitment out of the portal last year to defensive lineman from TCU to end up at Oklahoma. So we're just in crazy times.
We are. I'm keeping an eye over here. Looks like Kansas is going to kick a field goal on their second drive. They're going to be up 10-0 on Colorado. Minnesota out early on Penn State too at Minnesota. PJ Flex team. This is one to watch because PJ Flex team has played a lot of close games, and they've got Penn State at home. Of course, Ohio State hammered Indiana today and looked the part of a top 3 team. Indiana did not after an early touchdown, but now Texas with the ball back. And their second drive, they went 75 yards and put it in the end zone on the first one. Quinn Ewers looking really sharp so far.
Yeah, look, if
overshot. Matthew Golden is his target today.
Yeah, if Kentucky's going to play this far off, you just got to play pitch and catch at the corner spot with the outside receivers. I mean, if they're going to play this cover 4 and play off this much, you got to play a lot of pitch and catch and make these guys come up and make tackles.
Another reason to be optimistic of that first drive, Jerry. A lot of times when Texas does have these big recruiting weekends, we've seen maybe not the best game plan, and maybe Sark's even a little bit distracted. So far, so good for the Longhorns against this Kentucky defense. There's Quinn again, moving in the pocket, showing some athleticism, and he's going to they're going to add 15 there, and hope Quinn's okay. Quinn's fired up too.
Look, I want to say this. I'm so happy for the start that Quinn's had in this game. And I've said this a couple times. This is the most scrutinized position. Can be a mentally really tough position to play, especially when you've had as many injuries as he's had since his junior year in high school. And there's been ups and downs, and it's been ugly at times this year. I mean, Sarkisian having to pull him from the Georgia game. I can't recall a third-year starting quarterback ever having to be pulled from a big game, just bad play like that. Maybe Jalen Hurts in a national championship game. But, it's been up and down for Quinn this year. But I'm so happy that he's had a great start to this game, and I hope he has a great last game at Texas, last home game at Texas.
Oh, look at Jaden Blue, boy! We heard Jaden Blue talking about he's as healthy as he's been all year, which allows him to practice, and get the practice reps. Boy, did you see the move he made just now? That's the NFL version of Jaden Blue. And Kentucky was not set when the ball was snapped either. That helps. Woo! Kentucky is not having a good tackling quarter, Jerry.
No. I just got a text down here that says Bond's still limping a little bit. So he is still not 100% Isaiah Bond, by the way.
Yeah, Matthew Golden's been the go-to. That's his 5th catch already, Jerry. Obviously, they came in with a game plan to target somebody or get the ball to Matthew Golden. 5 catches, 71 yards. Quinn is 8 of 10 and already has a touchdown.
Yeah, it's, just moving it right down the field. That was a really good throw. Look, Quinn – I think there's a thing that with Quinn, it's just easy to make those throws. It's not easy to make those throws at the percentage he hits guys on the move in stride where they can just go maximize yards after catch. Quinn is tremendous in the short passing game. Like the accuracy, the timing, the velocity on those throws. He makes it an extended handoff is what he does, an extension of the run game. Quinn is as good as you'll see in those situations.
Agreed. Yeah, the deep ball needs work. The footwork at times obviously has to be something he continues to work. And I agree with you. Hopefully, I wasn't at the game, obviously, but I hope he got a great ovation from this crowd. It is the most scrutinized position, and certainly for Texas. But if this is his last season, we'll see how it wraps up. But he's put up some great numbers. He won a championship. He's going to be up there in all the record books for Texas in 3 seasons as a starting quarterback. And we'll see what happens here today. But he's off to this great start. There's Quinn with the deep ball, and looks like, it wasn't too much air. Yeah, it does look like he's a little limpy. That probably could have been pass interference, Jerry.
Yeah, no, I'd have to see it again, but it definitely could have been.
He got there early and kind of shoved him with his left arm. But, since he was looking back for the ball, contesting the ball, I think that's why they let that go. Running on 3rd down, that probably means they're going for it on 4th here, Jared. Yeah,
looks like we're going to have a 4th and 1 here. That's a really good job by that corner, the Kentucky corner. That's an athletic play. Very athletic play.
Yeah, Texas will go for it on 4th again. They scored a touchdown on the previous 4th down attempt. Quinn Ewers found Gunnar Helm. Now, instead of taking a Burt Auburn field goal, Sark is inside the 30-yard line, and he's going for it. Or right at the 30-yard line.
He's going for it.
Well, I mean, it helps when you have a defense that doesn't allow teams to drive the football on them.
That's right. There's no doubt.
Oh, well, that was good defense that time. They took away what Texas wanted, and the Longhorns are going to give up the ball after a promising drive. But good defense that time. Have we gotten any take the points yet on the messages?
Dan, there's Dan, take the points. But I'm surprised that was a throw on 4th down.
Yeah, me too. They were running the ball well, and they played man covers, brought some people. But I could see take the points. But 10-0 early. But again, you have a defense that 9 out of 10 times, doesn't allow points to the opponent if they have to go, more than 70 yards or right at 70 yards in this case. You feel more confident that you can get the ball right back and come score. Odds better that you can get that first down. But Sark now 1 for 2 on the 4th downs. First one equal to touchdown. This one was essentially a turnover for the Longhorns in our first quarter. Brought to you by ATX Trees. Check out that website, atxtrees.com. Learn about Albert Cedillo and his team, how they can bring their trees from their tree farm to your home, property, business. And it's amazing how you can beautify your home really fast, especially in a new home build or a new business where you just want some beautifying trees. They've got mature trees over 30 gallons, over 18 varieties of those natives in stock. They're free delivery and installation, then put a great warranty on it. They're going to take care of those trees once they're installed into your yard. If you have existing trees, they do tree trimming, removal. Get rid of one if you need to as well. No, just give them a call. 749-5149 is the number there at ATX Trees. 512, of course. They've been in Austin and Central Texas for 25 years. Family owned and operated. ATXtrees.com. They're based in Dripping Springs, Texas. So call Bert today. 749-5149. All right. So 2 drives, 1 touchdown, and then moved the ball. Texas already with 128 yards of offense. And so far, Quinn Ewers 8 for 12, 76 yards, having a real good start. And looks healthy. Just looks like he's being decisive with his decisions. And even that one, play was blown up, and he just he put it in the dirt and didn't take a sack. And now the defense will go to work.
Look, I mean, I'm 0-0, and Sark's winning a lot of games at Texas. I don't understand calling a pass play on that 4th and 1. You literally ran it 7 times for 47 yards with your backs. I don't understand that at all, throwing the ball on that 4th and 1. If you're going to go for it, why would you not run it? Kentucky hasn't stopped your run game yet.
I'd like to see this is not a controversial thing. I would love to see Texas as they get further, these games at A&M, play like that. I'd love to see a package with Arch Manning in the zone read, you know what I mean? And just to put pressure on the opposing. Because Quinn, I know we ran it last week on 4th down and to end the Arkansas game, but I'd love to see Arch in there with his athleticism, just a package where he gets his feet wet and because the defense has to honor him when he's on the field in the run game, unlike Quinn. And I think I'd love to see that, especially against the better teams they're going to play, once they start playing it, once they get to December and January. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Again, but like you said, 128 yards, Kentucky 16 on that first drive. It's going to be interesting to see how Kentucky attacks. So they want to run the football, right? And they had success on that first run. It was a 18-yarder on the first play of the game. After that, they were -2. I'm very interested to see what Kentucky does. Tranium's back, their power back. The transfer from Ohio State has been out majority of the season, played a little bit against Florida and a little bit more against Murray State. So they've got him now back if they want to go a little more downhill. But the Wilcox has been a real find for them late in the season. The freshman from the Atlanta area. Again, another Atlanta running back that's really good in college football. So I'm very interested to see how Kentucky attacks this first down on this second drive.
A little end around, get the outside. Manny Muhammad did a good job of setting the edge that time. Didn't make the tackle, but slowed the running back down.
Yeah, Manny Muhammad getting off the block, really good job. I think it was Barry Brown, right, on the reverse.
Yep.
Barry Brown, one of the better athletes in college football, just has not had consistent hands. Tremendous kick returner and his big play guy, but he's had some really bad timely drops over his career at Kentucky. But one of the best athletes. He will blow up an NFL combine.
There's Andrew Makuba pulling off his coverage and almost making another interception. Texas leads the SEC in that, and found out this week that Makuba and Jade Barron have a bet on who's going to have the most interceptions this year. He just missed one.
Oh, boy. And you want to talk about a tough throw Vandegrift was trying to make. That was a window closing quickly with 4 defenders around it. They had that thing cornered. They had that route cornered.
Well, that's this secondary, man. Every throw's got to be a tight window throw against this group, no matter the quarterback. And here comes the pressure again for Texas. Trey Moore this time, and it's going to force an incompletion. No flag on the ground, and Texas getting off the field. That's why you go for it on 4th down right there. As Kenny, who's that? That's fired up. Is that Johnny Nansen that's so fired up right there?
My feed's a little bit behind yours, so really good pressure.
There is a flag down.
That is Johnny Nansen.
All right, this little skirmish after the play, and they're going to, nobody hurt. Longhorns will get off the field and offsetting penalties. So the Longhorns defense, so far so good. 2 drives for Kentucky, no points. Longhorns about to get the ball back here. 3:20 to go first quarter. But Trey Moore that time with the pressure to force the early throw by Vandegrift.
Yeah, look, Trey Moore he has done his job really well this year, and now the pass rush, he's played the run well, he set the edge well, he showed that ability to play physically in the SEC at the stand-up linebacker position. Now those pass rushes are starting to come for him as well. So you're seeing Trey Moore kind of start to take off late in the season as he's got acclimated to big-time college football in the SEC.
100%. Yeah, and and this ability to stop the run on first down to get teams into third and long, those guys get to pin their ears back. And as you said, Kentucky, not a great offensive line. What have you seen from A&M's offensive line? We'll see them at Auburn tonight. I mean, they're improved. They're improved for
they're improved. You know what I think it is, Aaron? It's a mentality. They're playing physical. Mike Elko. We'll see what happens. I think Auburn's a tough game tonight. Now, by the way, Penn State down 14-0 to Minnesota. Ole Miss has already gone down. One playoff team's already gone down today. But I think he's just brought a physical mentality with more accountability. And they're running the ball downhill at people. They're not really working around people. It's a downhill physical run game in that offense with Colin Klein and what Mike Elko's brought to that program. So it's hat on hat. Physical run game football.
100%. And Texas is there too. And here comes that running play that you talked about on fourth down as Jaden Blue looks really, really fresh right now. We see, that's Wisner. My bad. Sorry, cutting through, but 26-23. But both running backs looks like they're running really well and the line's firing off.
Yeah, and that's the pull the guard and tight end counter. That Texas runs so effectively, and Trey Wisner runs that effectively. That is the best run play with Trey Wisner, is the counter, pulling the left guard or tight end, whichever side they're running that to. You watch Cam Williams block down, and that opens that hole. He is a powerful guy in the run game, and he's not even close to maximizing his talent. If he gets his hands on you, you're going to move.
Oh, man, they call holding on Majors in his senior day. Jake Majors started, 50 games at Texas. That one, it looked like he had a good block, and he didn't really – if he did grab late, he really didn't need to. I know Jake's not happy about it. I was about to say, man, good block, Jake Majors. So I'm going to have to see this replay, but I don't think he held.
Tashard Choice agrees.
Yeah, because I was just, as we're doing the watch along here, I was about to say, hey, that's a real good block out front by Jake Majors. Guy gets called for a hold. I didn't see that because Trey Wisner was by him on the initial block.
They owe Majors one later in this game.
Well, that's what Mark Stoops wants there. You can give up the short pass, then you got to tackle. Did not do that on that first drive for Texas. Now they've got Texas at a 2nd and 12 after the penalty. This is one you want to get half of that yardage and give yourself third and manageable if you're Texas here on 2nd and long.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, good tackle on Silas Bolden there. And if he tackled him high, though, I'll say this. If he misses that tackle, Bolden probably has 30 yards. But he went for the high tackle, got him to the ground.
All right, Longhorns with another third down. So far, Texas 2 for 4 on their third down attempts. They're 1 for 2 on fourth. So, of course, the Longhorns converted their first one on Quinn Ewers with a great throw to Matthew Golden that really kick-started that first drive. Let's see if they can get one here. This would push them into Kentucky territory if they get a first down here on third down.
And by the way, Maxwell Hairston is the corner that is making all the plays out there. First team all SEC preseason guy that's mocked in the first, second round, was out for a while this year. This is his first game back, and I believe 6 games, maybe 7.
There's Ryan Wingo with a little early jump, and it's going to push Texas back to a 3rd and 13. This was the down at Arkansas last week, Jerry, where they called that little screen pass to Jaden Blue that was really ended the game. We'll see what Kentucky's going to do. If they're going to play off, you might be able to do something along those lines. Be safe with the ball. Another deep ball shot, incomplete. Ryan Wingo came over the wrong shoulder that time, Jerry. Looked like it was there.
Yeah, Bad throw by Quinn. If he throws that inside, that is an easy catch in the red zone. Bad throw. Wingo had Hairston beat deep. Just did not make a good throw.
Well, and I think he should have been bailed out by a penalty because I think that was, I just heard Jesse Palmer say it on the TV side, that looked like defensive pass interference. Wingo was trying to redirect and go get the ball, and he got tackled almost. Got to get a tackle here. All right, so Texas is 1 for 3 on their first quarter scoring drives. 1 touchdown, 1 fourth down non-conversion, and now a punt. The penalties were big on that one. You had a Jake Majors hold and then a Ryan Wingo offsides and put Texas in 3rd and long, but it was still there. Quinn's got to make a better throw down the seam, down the hash mark there, and it would have been an explosive play. But either way.
Yeah, that ball's got to be. That was just a poor throw by Quinn. It's a windy day, but that was a poor throw by Quinn. When you beat Hairston that bad on a deep route, you have to connect on it because you don't beat him deep that often like that. He's a big time NFL prospect.
Yeah, 3rd and long too, and he obviously bought the out at the sticks, and the out and up worked. Quinn's got to make a better throw. All right, Longhorns defense though. This is the identity of this team now. Sark leaning into it, understanding that they don't have to be the 50-point Longhorns. They can win these ball games with this defense, and so far so good. 2 Kentucky drives, 2 punts.
Nate Weaver, I just said he had a great first drives. I'm being real. That was not a good throw, man. That ball's got to be thrown inside. That was not a good throw. No chance that was a good throw. Unless the wind got the football, that was not a good throw. He had him beat inside. Quarterback's got to see that he hasn't beat inside and lead him, not throw it over his back shoulder back into the coverage. That was not a good throw.
Yeah, and I'm sure Quinn will want that one back for sure. It wasn't a terrible throw, but it wasn't a good throw, and it wasn't easy. A good throw. And they are into the wind here at this point, I think, or the way the flags are going. But either way, it's got to be, and that's been his bugaboo, is those downfield passes being accurate.
Yeah.
Between pocket awareness, pocket movement, and then the deep balls, those are the concerns for Quinn. Everything else is elite, but those things still need to be worked on.
Yeah, and look, for his long term, there's a lot of time to talk about his long term, but he's going to have to be able to throw back shoulder balls in the intermediate game. He's going to have to be able to throw the ball outside the numbers down the field to be an effective NFL player. You can't condense your own field in the NFL.
All right, that's the end of the first quarter. The Longhorns lead 7-0. Quinn Ewers had a great first drive, but then Kentucky's defense has blowed up a little bit here on the previous. That was brought to you by ATX Trees. Our second quarter is going to be brought to you by our friends at GAMEDAY Equipment. My buddy Wes Murray and his team will tell you about them throughout the second quarter. GAMEDAY Equipment, they're Central Texas based, but playing in the big leagues when it comes to equipment sales and rentals as we go. Yeah, I mean, it's that start, the drive to start the game, Jerry was so locked in. That the last 2, they moved the ball again on the second drive and then you went for it on 4th down, an incomplete pass, and now those penalties really got him on that drive. That Jake Majors penalty, and I don't think it was a penalty. They never showed a replay of it. It didn't look like a penalty to me.
Yeah, no, that one really hurt the drive because Texas was running the football effectively. I mean, was it 9 carries for 68 yards right now from the backs, and that would have been an 8-yard gain on that play they called holding, would have set up a second and short. That was a big holding call on that drive, kind of stopped the momentum of that drive. But I really like what Texas is doing in the run game against Kentucky right now. They're kind of going at Deion Walker. They're letting him get out of his gap up the field a couple times. They're hitting him on the counters with the guard and the tight end pull. I really like what Texas is doing in the run game. That's a really good sign for me early on in this game that you have 9 carries for 68 yards. I don't think anybody would have probably expected that. You would have seen Sark scheming it up, especially if Kentucky's going to play this cover 4 and play those corners off. That puts a lot of pressure on their defensive front to get immediate pressure on Quinn. Otherwise, the pitch and catch throws are going to be there the whole game. So it's going to be really Kentucky's going to have to tackle well in space if they're going to stay in this cover 4 with those corners off. So I'm interested to see what Sark does when he starts to get out of this script in the second quarter.
Well, 100%. And I think you're right about that. I mean, Quinn looks healthy and accurate outside of the deep ball we just saw. And then if you're running the ball, again, that holding call, not to belittle it or to keep hitting it, but that was going to be across midfield. And as you said, second and short, and who knows? Instead, they're backed up and 3rd and 13 and still got a play and a shot play, but it didn't work out. But defense, here they come. Longhorns have skunked Kentucky on their first 2 drives, gotten them into 3rd and long. The pressure's there. Coverage continues to be rock solid. I'm watching my triple screens here, Jerry, during the break. And boy, Kansas, Jalen Daniels is giving Colorado all kinds of fits, but he's a really good player. He's healthy.
When he wants to play, he is tremendous. I mean,
Yeah.
he is. I still wonder what happened to his back last year. But when he starts, when he wants to play, man, he is a really talented college quarterback. I'll say that. Hey, so by the way, Kentucky 27 yards in the first quarter. They had 18 on the first play of the game. They've had 9 since. So they've had 9 after that first play of the game. They've had 9 yards in this ball game. 8 plays for 9 yards since the opening run of this game. So first down defense, everything for Texas in this game. If you can get Kentucky to 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs behind the chains, they are really going to struggle to move the football against this Texas defense.
Most teams have all year. That's what's the most impressive about the Arkansas game last week on the road. Held that team to 10 points. They've been one of the most explosive offenses in the conference, and Longhorns put a blanket on them. This Kentucky team struggles offensively, and so far, as you said, outside of one 18-yard play where Leon Lafau took a half step and missed his assignment. Everything else has been sound for Texas, but here we go.
Good point, Aaron. That was a bad run fit is all that was. That was a bad run fit. By the way, somebody's asking if Kentucky has a penalty. Yes, they had one in the first quarter on the punt, I believe. Well, Texas declined it, but you're about to get one to start the second.
They're going to call Texas on a delay of game. Wow. That's the penalty starting to load up here a little bit. And I know Texas sidelines, I'm sure, a little frustrated with a couple of pass interference calls that weren't called. Meanwhile, they've got the numbers mounting there with the Hankies. Where's our
that's 4 for 25 for Texas, 1 for 5 for Kentucky.
So far, yep. Texas
and the Jake Majors call was BS. I mean, that's the one that you're really like, wow, now that was not a hold.
Yeah, and as you said, that was an 8-yard gain on first down. So here we go. There's the Longhorns trying to bow up here.
You got to stop Kentucky's counter run game. That's their bread and butter is the counter run game for the Wildcats. And they're going to run it on early down. They're going to run it on first down a lot. If you can stop the counter, you really handicap this Kentucky offense.
There's Vandegrift trying to, go after Manny Muhammad. It wasn't open, which is typical for Manny Muhammad, but he forced it in there.
Yeah, Manny Muhammad, he stays attached in coverage about as well as any corner in this conference. He is a technician. He is a film junkie. He has football intelligence. He has the 3 keys to stay attached at all times in coverage. Not that you don't get beat. Everybody gets beat. But Manny Muhammad does his homework before games and before plays as well as you can at the corner position.
Big play there. Brock Vandegrift rolling to his right, buying some time because Colin Simmons was coming again. And that time, that extra time allowed a receiver to shake loose.
Yeah, Simmons had pressure up the middle, just threw it over the top of the defense. Must have had a coverage bust there. I said that, just as I say that about Manny Muhammad, right? Must have had a coverage bust there on double move.
Yeah, and that time Colin Simmons ducked inside, and that left the roll to his right possible for Vandegrift. I'm sure Colin's going to try to get pressure, but
definitely wasn't on Manny, right? So yeah, so Texas a little bit of a zone there in that coverage. And the crosser got off the backside.
It's where you're Texas. You want to force a field goal attempt if you can bow it up here. This is obviously the first time Kentucky has threatened the goal line in this game here early on second quarter.
Yeah, see what they come with on the second down. Wouldn't be surprised if they didn't run counter here.
Well, there it was, and that run sets them up to maybe go for it on 2 downs here to be third and a yard and a half. We'll see. They know their scoring options and opportunities going to be limited in this game.
So 3rd and 1 here on the 3.
Ball's out, but recovered. Anthony Hill coming backside, forced another turnover, or at least the ball on the ground. By the way, no team has put the ball on the ground more in the SEC this year than Kentucky, but they get back on them a lot.
Yeah, there's no doubt. They're a team that is about as many self-inflicted as you can have.
Another great play by Anthony Hill that time, coming from the backside.
And you know what? You're 4-6. You have job security this year. You're going for this.
Yeah, Vandegrift kept drifting back and bought himself enough time and floated one that got up over top of the defensive back that time to the tight end. Rolled left. Texas was getting pressure, but he just kept drifting backwards.
And that was a play where they dropped Baron Sorrell in coverage.
Oh, and Sorrell's just kind of lost his footing as he was trying to follow the tight end out, and should have been there, but just could never get his balance. All right, now the offense has to respond. Their defense doesn't give up drives like that very often. The big play on 3rd down from Brock Vandegrift, and then a 4th down throw, much like Texas, to the tight end. So both teams have a touchdown drive with a touchdown catch by their tight end on 4th down.
Yeah, they do. And look, so Kentucky mounts a little bit of drive there up to 87 total yards. So a drive of 60 yards for a touchdown there, aided by penalty, obviously, on Texas. Killed themselves on the last drive or hurt themselves on the last drive. But even game, Texas is still moving the ball really well when they don't get the yellow hankies. 157 yards in this game, and the average yards per play is 6.5 for Texas right now. Kentucky's up to 5.4, but it was the one big play they gave up. Outside that play, Texas doing pretty good job against the Kentucky run game, as the Kentucky backs have 7 carries for 37 yards, but 18 of those came on the first run of the game. So 6 for 19 after that first run of the game. But Texas has to come back now. They have to come back. They have to play clean football. You got to play pitch and catch on the perimeter if they're going to play off. And you got to give Quinn time to make those throws. But here's the big thing for me. Texas keeps running the football against Kentucky. Until Kentucky stops the Texas run game, I'm putting it in the stomach of Jaden Blue and Quinn Wisner and Trey Wisner a little bit more.
100%. 7-7 ball game here, 11:36 to go. Second quarter. Grande Equipment brings you the second quarter. Wes Murray and his team, locally owned since 2004, and have grown like crazy. Started down in Dripping Springs, outgrew that, went to Buda, outgrew that, Buda Kyle area, and now they're down near San Marcos because they need more room for all their equipment. You can find them online at grandeequipment.com, and it's everything full service. They're locally owned, as I mentioned, but boy, they have rentals, they have sales, they can refurbish your equipment. But boy, they're absolutely the call every single time. They have an extensive rental fleet of major brand equipment as well. Their rental fleet consists of rollers and compactors, dozers, wheel loaders, excavators, motor graders for the need a big project out at the land, at some land you've got or a lease. These are your guys. They pride themselves in customer service every single time. And if you have equipment, maybe you're ready to offload and sell, they are a great option. And an alternative to auctions at Grande Equipment. They do accommodate 30 and 60 and 90-day consignments to maximize your return on the window of your time frame. They've been doing this a long time, 20 years now. Great people. As Wes always tells me, they're small and independent, but they play in the big leagues all over the state, all over the world with Grande Equipment, sales and rentals. You see the phone number there, or just go to the website, grandeequipment.com. Feels like a big drive here for the offense, Jerry, to reestablish what they had on that first drive and not have a penalty here, those self-inflicted wounds. And then, Sark can kick himself a little bit on the fourth down play call, or not taking the field goal on their second drive. That's another one. But at the same time, they need to go move and put some points on the board. Yeah, they absolutely do. And don't get Jake Majors on a bad holding call again. That fourth down, throwing it on that fourth down when Texas had momentum is I've been thinking about that during your read there, how I think a run would have been really effective and gave Kentucky maybe a little bit momentum. But let's see if that holding call on Jake Majors is bad. If Texas can play clean football here, they're going to move the ball in Kentucky. I don't, as of right now, see a Kentucky defense. If Texas is running the football and throwing the ball well in the perimeter in the short game, then Kentucky is not getting done what they want to accomplish against the Texas run game. Because if you're going to play that cover 4 and you're going to play those corners off, you're expecting to stop the run up the middle, and you're expecting to get pass rush from your edge players to take away the perimeter throws. Neither one of those are happening right now. Low line drive on the kick. Longhorns will just let it go. Is that going to go out of bounds? Yeah. Texas will get on the 35. It's a good way to start. Deion Walker they're highlighting. Where was he from out of high school, Jer? Deion Walker was out of Detroit area, if I remember right. Really talented player. That was one of Kentucky's bigger recruiting wins they've had, and he is very impressive at SEC Media Days. Just walking down the hall, you can say, oh, yeah, I can see how that guy's going to be a first-round pick. Powerful frame. I mean, he's just one of those. You can't coach that size, and kind of like Alfred Collins for the Longhorns, just big. Number 7 defensive tackle prospect, it says. That play right there where he just long-armed the Tennessee tackle and set the edge was unbelievable play. Now, he will get out of he has good pass rush ability, but Deion Walker he'll play out of his gap at times. He will play out of his gap, so you can get him in the run game. Florida did for sure on some tape I watched when the Gators played Kentucky. Another Jaden Blue forced missed tackle that time, and what could have been a loss of yards turns into a pretty good run on first down. 7-man box, blitzer from the nickel position, it looked like, maybe outside backer. Good individual run there by Jaden Blue. Good job that time by Ewers. He sensed the pressure, got up, and he's going to make it third and very short. Yeah, that run the Blue, they faked the counter, and they ran a rocket pitch to the field side. Big third down here. Got to convert. Drew Lockhart, what's your take on Michigan and Underwood? I mean, I said it earlier. This is as wild of a stretch in recruiting as I've ever been associated with, because 3 5-star quarterbacks flip late in the process. 2 weeks before signing day. I've never seen that before with 3 5-star quarterbacks. I think everybody's getting their last mad dash push in from an NIL Wild Wild West perspective before we go to profit sharing in July. Good run that time by Jaden Blue. Kelvin Banks on the left side with a good double team creates a hole and a nice cut back to the outside. Jaden Blue that time out of the diamond formation. Yep, watch Kelvin Banks here on this play. This is big time. Good feet by Kelvin Banks. That defender gave him a little outside, went back inside. Kelvin Banks really good feet on that play. Somebody said, stop being cute, run the ball, play man coverage on defense. Go get their quarterback. We're freaking Texas. Yeah, look, I mean, they're running the ball. I mean, that's now 12 great carries for your backs. They're over 80 yards and picking up, 8.6 and 6.4 yards per carry so far. They are running it. And that's impressive against this Kentucky front. No doubt. I mean, 12 carries for 88 yards this early in the football game. This Texas offensive line is good, doing work in the run game. Wide receivers have made some key blocks as well. Nice touch throw that time by Quinn. Had to go over the top of the defensive linebacker and then drop it under the secondary in his zone defense. Good throw for Quinn. Good patience, too, to let it develop.
Yeah, look, here's the deal with Kentucky. If they're in that cover 4, if they don't get pressure, they can't cover Texas. They cannot cover the speed of the Texas Longhorns. Nobody has this year if you don't get pressure on Quinn. And that's the thing that I always keep telling people is if you give Quinn time, if you give Sark's plays time to develop, there are guys running wide open on almost every single play in the intermediate game.
Another great hole by the offensive line. As another 9-yard carry on first down. Jaden Blue having his best game in a month or so. He looks healthy, looks fast. Trey Wisner the same. Texas running offensive line is really dominating this game. And Quinn Ewers making some nice throws. So, and this is the final game, midway through the second quarter, Jerry. I always start talking about double dipping. Longhorns will get the ball out of halftime. So this is one of those, can you get a touchdown on the board, get the ball back, get some more points, and get that possession coming out of halftime. This is where the Longhorns, if they can go score here, start thinking about separating.
Yeah, and that was a good patient run there by Jaden Blue. He read the linebacker flowing with the play to the right and cut back just a little bit. And then when he can cut back and get vertical, he gets to the second level really quick.
Indeed. And so, yeah, this run game, Sark's got to be pleased with it. And you can keep leaning on that run game and a defense. Win a lot of football games. Longhorns now up over 200 yards of total offense, and it's really balanced. 101 yards passing, 110 yards rushing.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if Texas can score right here and they continue to run the football. Is Kentucky going to be forced to get out of this cover 4? That's what is going to be interesting to follow if Texas continues to run the football this effectively.
That time they brought a little run blitz that time because they're getting gouged right now with these run plays. They brought a corner off the slot, and the big tackle made a nice play there. So now it's going to be 3rd and 9, or 2nd and 9, I should say. Oh, tip ball. You talked about the length of that defensive line at Kentucky. That's a good example. He's trying to hit it over to Gunnar Helm, and ball gets tipped.
Yeah, they got some long edge players, long limbed edge players. JJ Weaver, one of those guys.
All right, big 3rd down here, red zone. You want touchdowns, not field goals here. Good coverage by Kentucky that time. Get rid of it. All right, Longhorns are going to settle for 3 here. Uh-oh, flag here. Oh, wow. This is going to be a gift, Jerry.
Yes, it is. Wow.
That really is you said it about Arkansas last week, Jerry, that's Kentucky right there this year. They're mistake prone. They make mistakes. They fumble the ball a lot. Their offense doesn't do much, and there your defense gets a stop, is going to force a field goal, and you just gave Texas a fresh set of downs inside the 10-yard line.
If you look at the 2 teams that have beat themselves more than anybody else in the SEC this year, it's Kentucky and Auburn. And both teams are 4 and 6. Auburn's been close. They haven't been blown out at home. Their worst loss is Georgia in Athens, 31-13. But they've played everybody tough, but it's been the self-inflicted.
Touchdown there, Jaden Blue. Now, he was across the goal line when that ball came out. The ball came out when he put his elbow on the ground. That's going to be a touchdown. Great block that time. Cole Hudson getting out in front of it on the pool, bringing the counter again. That's killing Kentucky right now. Yeah,
the counter game is really giving Kentucky issues, which is crazy because they work against the counter every day in practice. That is Kentucky's bread and butter in their run game. But Jaden Blue running really, He's got his explosiveness back. This is as explosive as I've seen him in a few weeks.
Yeah, that's going to be a touchdown, Jerry. Once the ball crashes the plane, it did. Right. He had control of it. The play's over. But they're going to look at it. I think that's going to stick, Jerry.
Yeah, I think that's going to stick as well.
Because this minute that ball hits the plane, the goal line, it's a touchdown. And the ball came out after that contact. And he crossed before the contact began.
Yeah, wait. Give me a hook 'em in the chat if you had Texas having 115 rushing yards with 6:39 to go in the second quarter and more rushing yards than passing yards against Kentucky. I don't think I'll see a hook 'em in the chat for that one. I don't think anybody had that one.
Yeah, the in-booth official just said he agrees with us. It's going to be a touchdown. So let's see if because again, once any part of the ball crosses any part of the goal line, it's going to be
all that ball has to do is hit the white tape. Essentially, it's touchdown.
Couple scores. It's now 20-7. Colorado trailing Kansas. Travis Hunter has a long touchdown catch and run, a little screen pass. He took it to the house, but Colorado defense having a hard time stopping Jalen Daniels in Kansas. Penn State has tied up their game with Minnesota for 10-all.
Yeah, look, that's a road game for Penn State. Obviously, we've already seen Ole Miss go down today on the road. Minnesota, not a bad football team, 6-4. It's kind of the normal Minnesota football team. PJ Fleck, row the boat. They're going to be competitive. They're going to play you pretty physical. But Penn State's battled back there. Michigan up on Northwestern 10-6. Nebraska up on Wisconsin 20-10 right now.
Let's also say that Jaden Blue, he's going to get away with another one. Had that fumble against Arkansas late that rolled out of bounds, and now this one, I think it's going to stick. But he's still got to get better securing that football.
I got to I got to say something here, Aaron. One of the greatest turnarounds is Arizona State. They're up 21-0 going in the half on BYU in Tempe.
Yeah, Kenny
Arizona State. If Arizona State wins out, they're in the college football playoff.
They are
3-9 last year, not very competitive.
Kenny Dillingham doing a heck of a job. And I was at the game. I was actually on the sidelines when they played Texas State down here in San Marcos, and Texas State had them beat at points. Yep. But that's the job teams has gotten better. Because when I was there, I was week 2 or 3. That did not look like a team that could play with hammer BYU. But here they are, and that's Kenny Dillingham doing a real good job. The touchdown's going to stand. Longhorns going to take a 7-point lead for the second time in this ball game. And now, as I say, Jerry, you start playing that. Can you score again before half? Get the ball back, and the Longhorns do get the ball coming out of halftime.
Kentucky gets it to start the second half.
Is that right?
Yeah, Kentucky kicked off.
That's right. You're right. Texas went right down the field and scored. They get the ball. My bad. So yeah.
But still, here's the thing, though. Look, if Texas can get a stop here, then they have a chance to go. Look, Kentucky hasn't stopped Texas. Texas has stopped Texas. So. And the refs have maybe stopped Texas on one drive. So if Texas can get a 3-and-out, or they can get the ball back here with pretty good field position, I like Texas' chances to end this half with about 300 yards and 21 points. I mean, if Kentucky can't stop the Texas run game, tell me how they're going to stop Texas.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's their bread and butter for a Mark Stoops team. I saw Mike Stoops over there. His brother's on his staff too. A couple Stoops there. But, and their tackling hadn't been great, and Texas is doing their thing. It's 216 total yards to 87 right now in our second quarter, brought to you by Grande Equipment and the great people there, Wes Murray and his team. Weston Murray, his son, they do a great job for any equipment sales, rentals, refurbishing. They can take an old piece of equipment and bring it back to life. I mean, they'll take a 30, 40-year-old piece of equipment and make it look brand new and run like a top and save you on trying to get a new one. They do an amazing job there in their refurb shop, paint and all. Just looks great. Plus, they can looking to offload and sell some equipment. They're a great option, different option than auctions, and they can do the 30 and 60 and 90-day consignments. They're just great people to work with and do business with. Any type of equipment, sales, rentals. It's grandeequipment.com online. That's grandeequipment.com. You'll meet a nicer group of people than the Murrays and that whole team there at Grande Equipment. 14-7. Jaden Blue having a heck of a half. That fumble. Are we worried about Jaden Blue ball security? Or are we?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I've been since high school, though. He's got great hands in the passing game, but he's always been a little bit of a loaf of bread carrier with the football in the run game. But yes. So to answer your question, yes.
Well, remember against Arkansas, he got punched out inside the 10-yard line on that drive, that touchdown drive, and that bounced out of bounds. Fortunately for Texas, and then this one right here, just a eyelash from taking a touchdown off the board. He's got to be careful. I understand he was reaching for that goal line at that point, but man, that's when you have to really, really be careful. We saw Trey Wisner do that in the Oklahoma game, right, where he fumbled the ball, got hit from behind, and it was Silas Bolden streaking down at the Cotton Bowl to jump on top of it. But Longhorn running backs have to secure that ball. And, one of the things, if Matthew can show us the receiving yards, because, it's surprising to me that the ball distribution is a lot less than we're used to with Texas right now. Normally by 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, 6 or 7 or 8 guys have caught a ball. Right now, it's really been Matthew Golden as the go-to player. Gunnar Helm has the touchdown catch, but the receptions by numbers of people, not as many as normal. But as you said, they've got 115 yards rushing, so that helps too.
Yeah, it does. I need to answer this question. People have been saying Quinn went to the tent, and he did, and I don't have any update on here. Obviously, people said he's in the tent, but it looked like he was limping off after that series. I think he started limping after that throw over the middle. So we'll see what comes of that.
There's Quinn Ewers going through senior day for him, junior day for real, but probably his last home game. He's either going to the NFL draft, which most people believe, or might have to go transfer to another program, do the whole Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel kind of thing.
Yeah. Somebody in this chat asked a recruiting question. Why is James Simon ranked so high when he doesn't have 1,000 yards this year? And there's a couple other backs that have had big seasons. Because, look, James Simon, they're trying to keep his numbers down. He also got hurt in their second game of the year. James Simon, he had a huge junior year. He's been a little nicked up this year, and so they've taken some of the carries off of him.
All right, that's the injury there. The kind of drag down from behind tackle. Quinn finished the drive, but we'll see when that comes back. But that's great special teams. Sark talked all week about Kentucky likes to generate points on their special teams. That time they forced bad field position because the kid ran backwards, and now the Longhorns are going to be able to defend from the 9-yard line.
Yeah, that is not, again, Kentucky not exactly helping themselves in this game as well.
You're not running side to side on this Texas.
No, gosh, no. You can't reverse field against Texas. Not on this team with this much speed that Sark's recruited in this program. Huge series coming up here for the Texas D. Let's see what they do. If I'm Kentucky, I'm running some sort of counter on first down.
They did, and the good tackle by Jaden Blue gets 4 yards, but they'll be 2nd and 6 now. Jalen Gilbo stepping up in there and making a big tackle.
Yeah, that was more of a little zone, inside zone, and cut it back, trying to read that linebacker. If you look, I think Kentucky's trying to see if they can get LaFowl a false step because they're going to try to run it, cut it back off of his gap because LaFowl is a very good player, very instinctive. They got him on that first play. He flows so well to the football. He reads things. I think Kentucky's seeing if they can get him going quickly one way and cut it back off of him.
Okay, now it's a timeout for Kentucky. The Longhorns get to because this is where if you're Texas, you want to see if you can force something. They lead the SEC in interceptions. They had the big 2 turnovers yesterday. This is where can you cut something loose? Anthony Hill already has a sack in this ball game. They've come after it up the middle. They've come after it off the edge, and now you're going to be 2nd and 6. I'm going to assume Kentucky's pretty conservative here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can be though. I mean, you're 4 and 6. You got to win 2 games to get bowl eligible. It's not been the season you expected to have. This Kentucky team was ranked 22nd in one of the polls. I can't remember if it was coaches or AP before the season. They have to win both these games to get bowl eligible. So I think Kentucky's got to be, Aaron, I think they got to be aggressive, maybe more aggressive than they ideally want to be. The question is here.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. In this part of the field.
In this part of the field, right? Can you pass protect enough to give Vandergriff a chance if it's a 3rd and long? People are saying in the stands that Arch is warming up on the sideline.
Oh boy, here we go. By the way, the Minnesota just scored another touchdown. They're up again on Penn State, 17-10. Initial first down for Kentucky gets them out of the shadow of their own goalpost. They're still not past the 20-yard line on first down.
Boom.
Ooh, that's going to be a pick.
Boom.
Jelani McDonald, what a play. If he caught that ball, that's a play. That's a huge play. What an athletic play that was. Getting vertical or horizontal to the ground. Yeah, he was like Superman.
Big time play. I mean, that was the hellacious athlete that we all saw coming out of high school right there. He plays a jack of all trades, played quarterback, really good basketball player, really good ball skills, great hands. There you see it right there.
Well, they're gonna he's a future NFL athlete.
Yes.
That's the kind of play that ends up on your
Yes.
resume tape, as they call it. Because it's the great ball skills too. I mean, wide receivers don't make that catch.
Look, in August, I'm not sure Jelani McDonald recovers to make that play. That was unbelievable reactive quickness. So he's seeing things quicker now. He's seeing things earlier. He's still a young safety, but that play right there, and obviously they're going to take a look, but they're going to take a look at the interception like they would. But that shows you his growth as a safety. He's always been a hellacious athlete, but this is his growth as a safety.
Well, if that stands, and I think it probably will, we'll see who comes out to play quarterback, Jerry. That's going to be the big thing here.
Yeah, it absolutely will. And I don't know. I haven't got a text from anybody in the stands saying what's about to happen here. Let's see. I'm trying to text people that are at the game to see if we can get some news before these guys come out of the timeout, but I'm not sure I will.
Well, we'll all see. And I will mention, normally in our second quarter here on the On Texas Football Watch Along, Bob Shipley, the coach, joins us. He's had an emergency he's got to go take care of, so we won't have Bob today, unfortunately, but he'll be back soon enough. And everybody's fine. He's doing all right. He just had to run and take care of something. So happens. So Bob Shipley won't be with us today. Rod Babers will be with us later. Jerry and I, of course. We're going to see Bobby Burton and the crew will have the post-game show. However this breaks, but looks like it's going to stick. And the Longhorns have their 16th interception now in SEC leaders. And Jelani McDonald will highlight reel play. And now we'll see who plays quarterback for the Longhorns. Yeah,
I think look, if Arch has to come in, not a bad spot too. It's not like you're coming in inside your own 10 playing against Georgia, right? I mean, you're coming in if you come in here against a Kentucky team that hadn't stopped the run. Quinn is back at quarterback, by the way.
Yep, Quinn is out there. Longhorns at the 34-yard line, short field, running the ball really well right now. They're going to throw on first down. That's been Matthew Golden's day. That's his sixth catch already. He's got 85 yards in the first half. Between he and those two running backs, that's been the offense for Texas.
Yeah, I mean, six for 85. Matthew Golden, he's going to have his Texas career afternoon at this rate. That was a really good pass protection there that gave that play time to develop. Quinn could stand tall in the pocket there and make the accurate throw. Pass protection's been really solid for Texas today. A little bit of a slide protect there, slide in the pocket. Kelvin Banks did a good job on left tackle. Interior did a good job in the slide protection and let that play develop.
Yeah, good tackle that time by Hairston on the outside. That's Jaden Blue makes a lot of guys miss on that little end around, and he stayed solid. And Jaden Blue went down for a gain of 2 yards. So we see that go for more yardage most times.
Maxwell Hairston's a big time player. Going to be a long time NFL corner. Again, that's been a big injury. Kentucky's had as many impactful injuries this year as any team in the SEC. I mean, when you lose an all SEC performer at corner for multiple weeks, I mean, a guy that's projected to be a first-round pick by some headed into the season, and then J.J. Weaver, their edge guy, missed 3 games. They've had a lot. They're starting running back come into the season, a couple of offensive linemen. They've had a ton of injuries this year.
Yeah, they have, and that's better tackling for them on the outside. The last 2 plays, they do that little swing screen out to Jaden Blue, and he dodges one tackler who was aggressive, and then that jump allowed the cavalry to get home, and now it's going to be 3rd and 7. Texas in field goal range, however, but they want more after an interception. Gunnar Helm again. What a year he's having. Touchdown, Gunnar Helm. Sorry, Jerry, I jumped your gun.
You're good. My feed is like 15 seconds behind the chats today, so I'm getting my news from the chat.
What a throw. That's a great throw by Quinn. That was good coverage, not terrible coverage, I should say, by Kentucky. That's just a drop in the basket. And, great catch, too, by Gunnar.
Great catch, great throw, great protection, great throw, great catch. Well-executed play all around Texas Longhorns. Great throw by Quinn.
His big tight end, Gunnar Helm, has been so big this year. He's going to be pushing for all conference honors, Jerry.
Look, this is, absolutely. Tough conference because Eli Stowers, obviously, at Vanderbilt's having a huge year too. But if Texas wins this game, beats A&M next week, Gunnar Helm, you're going to see a lot of first, second team guys, all SEC. But I'll say this too: offensive line and pass pro has really been really good today. And one thing that will never change as long as Quinn is the quarterback at Texas is if you give him time and Sark's plays have time to develop. Quinn is as good in the intermediate game as anybody in college football, especially in between the numbers. So if Sark's dialing him up, and as long as the offensive line gives Quinn a good pocket to where he feels comfortable throwing the football and those plays develop, he is money in the intermediate game.
That was big time. Big time. Jelani McDonald getting the acrobatic interception. There's Derek Weisner right there. Come on now, big Helm. Gunnar Helm with his second touchdown of the ball game. And the Longhorns, 250 total yards now, well-balanced. And Quinn Ewers coming out of the injury tent, still looking sharp. 12 of 19, 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Longhorns, 3:12 to go. And this is where you get back to Kentucky. They've already now thrown a pick, and now there's a little separation to the game. How aggressive is Kentucky going to be here, knowing they get the ball out of halftime too, Jerry? They'd like to double dip if they could, but, you just saw your quarterback throw an interception.
Well, here's the crazy thing. I was just about to point out. I was going the other way, Aaron. Texas has 3 timeouts.
Right out.
If they stuff Kentucky on first down, Sark will start using his timeouts. If they can get to a predictable passing down for Vandegrift, that's going to be ideal for Texas. Texas has 3 timeouts. If they can get the ball back, watch out. Kentucky doesn't look like they're going to stop Texas. Texas looks like they're going to stop Texas today. If the only way Texas is getting stopped is if Texas stops themselves.
A couple of updates. Colorado back to within 6 of Kansas. It's 20-14, and Penn State has answered the Minnesota touchdown. That's now 17-all in Minnesota Gophers. But I don't think I expected a shootout in that game, Jerry. Penn State and Minnesota going up and down the field on each other.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, I was looking at that. 17-17, obviously Colorado's fighting back. I mean, how about that? Arizona State 21-3 over BYU at the half. Texas Tech up 21-14 over Oak State at the half there. Oh, Stanford Cal. Remember when that game used to mean something? 14-7 at half.
The play. I remember the play, Jerry. Hey, Jerry, what was your take on the Ohio State win today? Pretty impressive at home. Indiana, good team, but that's the first, legitimate team they've played and really couldn't handle it.
The question is with Indiana, and this is the topic I kind of stayed away from. Bobby hit on it earlier. Bobby hit on it earlier in the week. What happens if Indiana gets blown out? Do they get left out of the playoffs? Is a 23-point loss enough at 11-1 because they'll beat Purdue next week to get left out of the playoffs? That would be interesting because that would. But today, in everything we were thinking there was, what if Texas has – or the SEC has 5, 10-2 teams that could get in the SEC, could get in the playoffs from the SEC. Well, Ole Miss got bounced today. Jackson Dart was one of the greatest meltdowns I've seen for a third-year starting quarterback at the end of a game ever. The last 5 minutes were unbelievably atrocious for a guy to play a lot of football, and I feel bad for him, but it is what it is. But did Indiana do enough to stay in the playoffs if they finish 11-1, Aaron? Their strength of schedule so bad. What's it going to end up in the 90s, 80s or 90s?
Well, I think
that's what's going to be interesting with the committee.
100%. Yeah, I mean, they needed to play closer today. They scored the first 7 points and then got rolled by a banged up Ohio State offensive line, and that didn't show well for Kurt Cignetti. And again, I mean, gosh, Florida winning today. Florida's got more quality wins than Indiana has, and they're going to be 7-5 football team. To me, it's about quality wins more than just wins. I think that's important, obviously. And this is one of the debates I think we're going to be having in the Big Ten and the SEC is, is it okay to have these 18-team conferences with no divisions, and a team like Indiana draws, not their fault, but they drew the bottom 8 teams in the conference essentially, and Ohio State essentially. That's their whole schedule. So they play Purdue next week, I believe, and Purdue's the worst team in the conference. So in their in-state rivalry. So I don't know, that's going to be, because everything that happens with this committee in 3 weeks is going to set precedent, because it's the first time we've had a 12-team playoff. I mean, that's I've had the debate. We don't want to assume we do not want to see Texas lose to A&M next week. But if that were to happen and A&M were to go to play Alabama in the championship game, one of those teams is coming out there with 3 losses. Are you going to leave them out?
Right.
Even though they played for the SEC championship? These are all the questions the committee has to have answers for. And obviously we see an upset like Ole Miss today, and things need to play out before we can make judgments. But there's another, by the way, Ole Miss 2 home losses this year, 2 bad home losses. Yeah. That's not good for Lane Kiffin right there. Kentucky. No. And now Florida with DJ Lagway. I mean, that's bad. If they're going to be pretty frustrated at Lane Kiffin if that keeps them out of the playoff.
Just think 4 weeks ago he was the next Florida coach.
I know.
But here's the thing too about that. That's the crazy thing. So Lane Kiffin will take
third down here. Big third down here, Jerry.
Huge third down. People say same old Lane Kiffin, same old Lane Kiffin. They outgained Florida by 75, 80 yards today. I mean, Jackson Dart did not help them at the end of that game, but a loss is a loss, and your record is what you say. It is what it says it is.
Yeah, I mean, Lane is that's they went all in the portal. Walter Nolan and Juice Wells, and spent a lot of dollars. Jackson Dart's back, and boy, that's a crippling loss for them, because they'll beat Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl to wrap this thing up. But that 3 losses, they won't play in the title game. That's going to be a hard argue at this point. Let me mention one more time about our 2-minute timeout coming up for a big third down. If Texas can get off the field, they do have timeouts and are red hot offensively right now. As you said, Jerry, Kentucky with their defense really haven't stopped Texas. Texas has stopped Texas. The officials and going forward on 4th down and not getting it is really what has slowed the Longhorns down at all. But Grande Equipment, Sales and Rentals, Wes Murray and his team, you see the number there, 830-312-5522. But the easiest way to find it is go to the website. They have a new app too. When you if you go to grandeequipment.com on your smartphone, you can download the app if you need equipment often and need the convenience of an app. They've got a brand new one at Grande Equipment. Find that on your smartphone. You just go to their website through the Safari or your provider, and you'll see it right there. It'll pop up. You can download the app or just search for it. Grande Equipment, Sales and Rentals. They're independent, local people, but they play in the big leagues when it comes to projects, equipment, rail, sales, and rentals. Everything you need. They're our second quarter sponsor and a great partner of ours here on the On Texas Watch Along. 250 yards, Jerry, to 101. So 150-yard advantage for the Longhorns, a 14-point lead. And now if you're we just had to ask this question our last time out. If you're Mark Stoops, how aggressive are you going to get here? You got the ball coming at the half. I mean, this is almost like that Billy Napier moment with Florida before the half, where they throw an interception and a game that's somewhat in striking distance all of a sudden is out of control.
It's a great point. I'm interested to see what he does on this because the ball's on the 29. If you say, okay, something very safe in the passing game or run and play punt here, because the reality is Texas still has 3 timeouts. They're going to call a timeout here if the ball's in play and it's short of the first down. They're going to use one of their 3 timeouts.
And that's kind of my thought. With your offense, you got to know who you are.
Yeah.
You said the same thing about Billy Napier when he had a 3rd-string quarterback in there against Texas, that you reserve the right to be in this game later. I mean, if you turn this ball over here, you're going to be down 21 points at halftime. You still may.
Maybe force Texas to go 85 yards in a minute and 40. I mean, that's the difference. I'm very rarely super conservative, but I may be super conservative here if I'm Kentucky, because if you're, like you said, if you're Stoops, you're thinking, okay, if we don't get the first here and we can get one defensive stop. But the problem is he's looking at his defense saying, I'm not sure we can stop these guys right now. That's the problem if you're not aggressive on this play call. But if they can get a stop and it's 21-7 at halftime, he still has a message for his team at the half. If you're down 28-7, what's your message? I mean, you don't have one. These guys know they're a struggling offensive team. So can Mark Stoops keep it at 21-7? I wouldn't take a risk down the field with Brock Vandegrift.
I'm with you on that. And this secondary, we just saw Jelani McDonald make one heck of an interception. These guys are hard to throw into. I mean, the one play that popped was that big 3rd down conversion that led to the touchdown drive, Jerry. That was really Colin Simmons not playing his assignment on the outside and let Vandegrift get to roll out to his right. he ducked inside and there was no contain. Texas' secondary under – here we come on a 3rd down. Here comes Vernon Broughton. Here comes a sack for Texas and timeout Longhorns. Baron Sorrell on senior day is going to get a sack.
2 sacks for Texas in the half, multiple pressures, right on track for that 4 or 5 sack game, because if Texas scores here, then Kentucky's going to have to throw it more than they want to in the second half. Again, this is the one thing going into this game, what I talked about all week. Kentucky is not good in pass protection. They'd given up 27 sacks in 10 games coming into this game. Now they've given up 29 this year. If you can get them in 3rd in passing downs, they cannot pass protect against Texas, and Texas doesn't have to bring 6. They only have to bring 5. Sometimes they'll bring 6, but they don't have to outnumber this Kentucky offensive line. They can win one-on-ones.
There's a poet there on the message line. 88 is great. That is true.
There he is.
And Ty Anthony Smith in on that sack too, Jer, coming up from his linebacker spot.
Future All-SEC, 2nd, 3rd team, whatever. He's a big-time player. That he has got an extremely bright future. That is not talked about enough, but that's going to end up being a huge flip when Jimbo was fired last year.
Silas Bolden will field any punt, and he just and they can't tackle him. He's 160 pounds, soaking wet, and they still can't tackle the guy.
He's the guy you don't want to play in the alumni game when everybody's 60, because that guy's still going to be 155 pounds running as fast as he can all the time.
Yes, I told you in a pregame event I hosted and I interviewed Jamal Charles today, the Longhorn legend, and he still looks like he could run a little bit at 37 years old, looking great.
He probably could run 4.5 still.
Yeah, we had a good debate with him, good conversation. That guy was 2 knee injuries away from being in the Hall of Fame in the NFL.
Yes, he was.
2 seasons lost in the early season, and boy, he's still looking up the research when I interviewed him. He still leads the NFL all time in yards per carry from a running back position, 5.4.
I agree with people and that's something to have that record over Barry Sanders, by the way. People are saying Quinn's limping, not looking great. It's going to take a lot to get Quinn off the field today, but he does need to be a little careful.
What do we think it is? Just a little like an ankle turn?
I don't know. I'd be totally speculating right now.
I'm going to guess he just got his ankle falling on there when he was tackled from behind, but we'll probably get an update from Sark as they head to the locker room here. See if they can get points before they do. Longhorns need to be careful here, but 3 points is certainly a possibility. Quinn with another connection to Gunnar Helm, and clock does stop inside 2 minutes on a 1st down.
Yes. So
that helps here on a 2-minute drive. This is good right here. They need this 2-minute drill action. It's good to practice it and rep it in a real game here. There goes Bond, and he can get out of bounds, which is big. Half midfield with 50 seconds. Plenty of options now, Jerry. You can start thinking touchdown, not just field goal.
Oh yeah, Sark's thinking touchdown all the way. He is trying to put this game on ice right now. He is trying to send Kentucky in where Mark Stoops does not have the message that he wants to send to this team.
Gunnar Helm to penalty Texas. That's going to wipe that out, and you still don't get the time back. So that's a double hit.
We're going to have a penalty, though.
Yeah, it's illegal downfield on Gunnar Helm. So that's as I say, that's 5 yards, but it takes the yardage away, and the clock stays where it is. The clock's now running.
Now you're playing for the field goal, probably.
Probably.
Have to be.
Well, and you got to think Kentucky's going to play all back. They're going to give you the underneath stuff here. But, if they kick a field goal here, Jerry, 24-7 at half, not bad. You take that, and you didn't kick a field goal earlier when you went for it on 4th down. Your offense has been really, really good. If they get a field goal, they're going to be over 300 yards of offense in this first half.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And look, the most surprising thing about this half to me, I guess Kentucky's run defense, but Texas offensive line, Kentucky just has not been able to generate. I thought they'd been able to generate a little more pressure than they have. They just haven't. Texas is passing guys off. They're communicating well, passing guys off effectively. Nobody's really out of position on the offensive line. Nobody looks confused. So offensive line's having a really good half.
And that time, amid some pressure, Quinn Ewers stepped up in the pocket and found Silas Bolden for a big play. And then he fumbled the ball, but he got it back. He jumped right back on top of it.
Well, if the ball's on the ground, he's going to get it somehow.
Yeah, Longhorns are approaching field goal range for sure, and Quinn's been sharp on this drive, even though the injury. All right, so now you take a time. Well, actually, the first down is going to stop the clock. Gunnar Helm having a big game on senior day. 4 catches, 34 yards now, 2 touchdowns, including the last Longhorn, the first and the third touchdown that Texas has. Jaden Blue has the other one.
Thoughts on SEC officiating? I mean, look, if you're the Jake Majors hold, that was bad. I don't know what to say. That was bad. But look, SEC calls holding. I mean, we're going to say that, right? And Maxwell Hairston may have got away with a PI on the first deep ball. May have, but he did get his head turned. If you get your head turned, you're going to get that call a lot. You're not going to get the call a lot of times. But SEC officiating, I mean, I don't know what to say. They call holding in this league. There's been some. I mean, the hold on Gunnar Helm in the Vanderbilt game was ridiculous. This hold on Jake Majors to me was ridiculous. I'll see if I'm wrong on a second watch.
Yeah, Quinn looks like it's an ankle to me. Just the way he's kind of ginger on it.
Yeah.
That's nothing like structural in his leg or anything. It's just the ankle got turned.
Yeah, I think he just got on that third down run. And I didn't want to speculate because Quinn's had so many different injuries.
Sure.
But you saw the Kentucky guy kind of fall on that leg in that position where it would be whether it's an ankle, outside ankle, not the normal ankle roll, or maybe, your knee's just a little sore.
Double move, Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone. Another good piece of coverage. We'll see if there was contact. Well, again, I don't think you're allowed to hit a guy in the face before the ball gets there, are you?
No.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Not normally. And that was in a trail position.
They're letting him play.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to be third down, so they're going to kick a field goal here. It'll be a decent distance field goal.
That's got to be PI. That's a bad non-call.
Yeah, I mean, hit him right in the face while he's trying to catch the ball. Before he was trying to catch the ball, it impeded because it was a really good throw by Quinn. I think if he doesn't get hit in the face, he catches that ball.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Bert Auburn with 15 seconds to go, trying to make it 17-point lead for Texas. He's 8 for 11 on the year. This is one he needs to make here. As you said, Jerry, did not participate in senior day today, which was odd.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got another year. He wasn't announced as a senior. Let's say that. He wasn't announced as a senior, so leaving that option back. But it's been an interesting year for Bert. Now, up to 9 of 12. Bobby and I were joking about it on one of the live streams, maybe with Rod too. He's almost like a guy that's not getting to hit driver as much this year, right? So, like last year, you felt like he was kicking 2 or 3 field goals a game, right, and getting that many attempts a game. This year, he's got 12 attempts, and now game 11. So, less than half of the attempts at this time last year. So, it's almost like a guy that only gets to hit driver on like 3 holes if you're playing golf. And so are you going to be as accurate if you're not getting as many attempts?
It's a fair question. Longhorns are going to wrap up the half with 24 points and 295 total yards. And maybe the most impressive, 118 rushing yards and a half against a good Kentucky defense. Blue and Wisner, the combo, over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. Quinn Ewers, 17 of 26, did not turn the football over in this first half, 177 yards. And Jerry, the couple of pass interference potentially calls not made Quinn's stat line look even worse than, or would have been better if they would have gotten a couple of hankies there.
Yeah, no, this is intermediate Quinn that makes him an NFL
ball
right here.
Oh wow! They just fumbled the ball again on the kickoff. That guy Barry Brown is he's I don't know what is he makes you nervous, man. He can really, he's explosive, but ran backwards on the previous kickoff. That time he just flat out dropped the ball.
He is, people. Silas Bolden scares people. Try being a Kentucky fan with Barry Brown.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that guy is a.
But boy, is he a jet until the ball hits the ground. He is a jet pack. My gosh, he'll probably run in the 4.30, 4.28 in the NFL Combine.
There goes Quinn early to the locker room, probably get taped. And I'm assuming they'll grab Sark on the way to the locker room, and I'll turn the sound up and try to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, so that begs the question. People are asking in the chat, do you play him in the second half of this game, or do you get him you sit him in the second half of this game for A&M? By the way, while I was at Newhouse today waiting on recruits, saw Archie Manning with Cooper and family today. Archie and Olivia are at the game today. So Manning royalty in the house today.
295. That's awesome to see the man. And they're going to be here a lot here coming up. And they might see a lot of Arch Manning. We'll see. Because, I mean, the debate is you're 300 yards to 99. You're running the ball well. You're up 17. Your biggest game of the year is next week. I mean, do you risk Quinn at this point? They did not catch Sark, at least as an interview. I'm sure we'll hear coming out. But either way, this looks like an ankle to me. But and he did throw the ball pretty well on that final drive until it didn't get a pass interference call and threw incomplete to DeAndre Moore. But we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Yeah. Bobby's going to jump in for me at half.
Okay, cool. So you give us an update before you head out. Oh, there's Bobby. Hey, or Jerry. How are you? Jerry and Bobby switching places. What's up?
We're switching spots here. Jerry kept the seat warm.
It's a nice backdrop. Where are you guys at right there? The hotel?
We're at a friend's house here in Austin watching the game, trying to make sense of this Longhorn team that, man, I tell you what, they played a good last 3 quarters, haven't they, all together? Starting with the fourth quarter against Arkansas, these last 2 against Kentucky. Complimentary football, and I think they're looking pretty good right now, guys. Quinn composed, not taking a self-sack, standing in the pocket. Maybe it's because his feet have to be a little slower now. He's a little gimpy right now, but Longhorns look pretty darn good to me.
Yeah, 4 for 8, 50% on third downs. They, the one negative offensively was not getting that fourth down. The second one where they're now 1 for 2 and they didn't kick a field goal, didn't convert there, gave Kentucky the ball. But, it continues to be this defense, 99 total yards, right at 50 and 50. I mean, that turnover force, the biggest play of the first half was that Jelani McDonald pick. Athletic as heck, going Superman on it to keep the ball and control it, give the ball right back to separate from 14-7 to 21-7. That's the biggest play for the first half in my mind, Jerry. Bobby.
Unbelievable. And I'll say this, it's nice to see a sophomore on senior day do that, right?
Yes.
I mean, also a nice senior day, obviously, for Gunnar Helm, 2 touchdowns. I would add this to this game. You mentioned the offense somewhat slow, but they've scored on 4 of 6 possessions against one of the SEC's best defenses.
Yeah, 4 of 6, and they had a 4th and 1 and didn't get it on the other one that they didn't. They could have kicked a field goal there.
Yeah,
but that very efficient offensively, I thought, in the first half. And Quinn, amidst the criticism of last week, he looked really sharp. Made we kind of know early with Quinn. He made that 3rd down and 11 throw to Matthew Golden on the first drive to kickstart that touchdown drive. I thought that was pretty important for him, and he's looked pretty razor sharp. What do you think about these pass interference calls that aren't getting called in the end zone?
It's clear that the SEC is picky about holding and not so picky about PI.
Yeah,
that's just point blank. I think it's the exact opposite in the Big 12. If you want to know the truth, just absolutely outstanding. Hey, Gary Smallwood has this. DeAndre Moore hurt, Isaiah Bond hurt. Why isn't Wingo getting targets? Wingo was targeted deep, had a catch on the goal line. He is getting targets. They're all getting targets. Get over it is what my first thought would be. It's a team game. Texas right now doing good enough, in my opinion, up 24-7. It's not a one-person sport here, guys. So if you're here for just one player, whether that's Quinn Ewers or Jaden Blue or Arch Manning or whoever, that's not what it's about. This is about Texas, not about it's about the name on the back, on the front of the jersey, not the one on the back. I would just say that to you guys.
100% accurate. Average yards per play, 6.4 for Texas, 4.3 And as you said, the efficiency came from the run game. We've talked about that a lot. Is Texas going to be able to run the ball and against the better fronts of the SEC and A&M next week? Obviously, so far so good. 18 carries out of your starting running backs. You're over 100 yards. Both of them, gosh, at 6 yards a carry or over.
Yes. I think that Texas is running the ball, moving Kentucky. Look at the time of possession here. Part of the reason why, I think, right? Texas has held the ball almost 19 plus minutes compared to 10 for Kentucky. These drives for Texas, normally a very quick strike team. Not really. 2 of the 4 haven't been quick strike and have been more judicious. I think that's one of the things that I like more than anything is that Texas is showing the capacity to not just be a big play offense, but also move the ball consistently down the field. I'm a big fan of what the Longhorns are able to do right now on offense. I'm surprised somewhat that Kentucky isn't trying to light Texas up and light Quinn Ewers up, but maybe the run game has been enough where, and Kentucky doesn't think they can do it. So it's an interesting one as well. I got to say this, Aaron, the loss by Ole Miss today changes the idea of what Texas needs to do to get into the playoffs, most likely. Ole Miss with 3 losses in conference, now out of it, in my opinion, altogether. Right. There's no chance that they're going to be able to be in this game and whatnot. So I've got to say that because I think that if Texas is one of now 5 teams with 2 or fewer losses in conference and overall, Texas wins today. Texas goes to 10-1. I still believe Texas has a better resume than Tennessee. I think Georgia, as well as Alabama, could have an argument there. But Texas, they win today. Let's see if anything else happens in Norman or in Auburn, Alabama this afternoon. But this could be a situation where Texas doing what it needs to do. A 3-score lead. I got to be frank about this, guys. A 3-score lead against Kentucky feels pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Does it not to you? I mean, Aaron,
no, I mean, you're right. And again, this defense, I mean, you look at 99 total yards for Kentucky. There were really 2 explosive plays that created most of those yards. There was an 18-yard run on first down where Leonga Lafau misstepped and left his gap open, hit his crease, and they hit it. Other than that, no run yards really, or minimal. And then the play in which Brock Vandergriff on third down rolled right and found bought some time and found an open receiver. That really was on Colin Simmons because Colin Simmons was the edge and he cut underneath and he's got to maintain that and keep that quarterback in the pocket. When they've kept him in the pocket, he's not doing anything. And so those 2 plays really stand out. Other than that, defense rock solid. So if Kentucky comes out with the ball here, Texas can get them off the field again. You go get some points and maybe get a touchdown to start the third quarter. Then you could probably start thinking about Quinn Ewers sitting down, and that's going to be the big question: is how banged up is Quinn with the what appears to be a lower leg injury. Yeah,
it does. It looks. I don't know what. I can't tell. I think he went into the tent to get retaped on his ankle. By the way, guys.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like. I mean, he doesn't have a knee brace on or anything. They didn't wrap his knee. It's the ankle, which not surprising, and it's just a pain tolerance thing at that point if you can plant and throw. Some scores, some surprises. Kansas up on Colorado 23-14 now. They are up, at home. They've beaten back-to-back ranked opponents, derailed BYU's perfect season, derailed Iowa State's perfect season, and now here's Colorado down at the half, and Minnesota up on Penn State, 19-16, start of the third quarter. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Big Ten, for whatever reason, looks like they're going to get 4 teams into the playoffs, even if they don't really have 4 teams that belong. Yeah, in my opinion, the key here is to make sure that the SEC gets 4 teams in my opinion, or Texas wins out. One of those 2 things, because I'm looking at it from a standpoint of no other 2 ACC teams do not belong in the top 12 in the country with 2 losses. They just don't.
I thought watch both today, SMU and Miami. I think SMU is going to beat Miami and Charlotte. SMU is really good. They went into Virginia, 9-point favorite, and won 33-7. Miami had to come from behind again to beat Wake Forest. I just think SMU's a better team, and so SMU can play their way in. That Penn State loses today, they're out. I mean, the Big Ten's going to be hurting for certain if Penn State were to lose to Minnesota. I mean, when I say out, I'm pretty unequivocal. But man, they're going to have a hard time because they're going to be 2 losses and they don't have a quality win at all. They lost to Ohio State and Minnesota beats them. That's going to be the tough thing. And now you start talking about the SEC, maybe Bobby with 5, because as I've talked about, however it plays out, if in the SEC championship game, if let's say it was A&M and Alabama, because A&M beats Texas next week, well, the loser of that game's coming out 3 losses, and I don't know that they're going to leave them out with a third loss, even though they played. And Ward Manuel said we're not punishing teams who make it to their conference title game in the power conferences.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, look, that's fine, but the reality of it is, I think whoever goes, even if they have 3 losses, whoever goes to the SEC championship is going to make it to the 12 team.
Correct.
I think that's not necessarily the case for the ACC.
No,
I don't.
Or the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't think it's the case for the
Big Ten. It will be if it's Ohio State and Oregon.
Yes, Ohio State and Oregon. That's fine.
They're both in.
I think that's fine. It's that if Indiana would have been in there, look, Indiana, you can say what you want, but I don't think they belong in the top 12 in the country. I watched a lot of that game today. They just don't have the dudes on defense or on offense. They got a good scheme and they play hard. It's like BYU or Arizona State. Good team, play hard. More power to them, right?
Yeah,
they don't have the talent.
Jimmy's and Joe's game, right? And heard Urban Meyer say it on the pregame, and he was right. I mean, he said I was walking around on the field before the game, and it's 2 different looking teams, right? One team looks like Ohio State, the other team looks like Indiana, and that's just the horses that the Buckeyes have, even with their starting center out. So yes, agree. And the Big Ten, Penn State loses today, and Minnesota is moving the ball at will on their defense right now. They've got 20 points, and it's not just start of the third quarter. Keep an eye there because Penn State doesn't have a great resume. We know that. Indiana, kind of a fraud. And, the question now is going to be in the Big Ten. Ohio State still has to play Michigan and Washington, Oregon. Or if they both win those games, both of those schools, but Bobby, Ohio State and Oregon are going to be saying, why do we have to play this game? I mean, we're both in, right? I know it's for a Big Ten championship, but we're both in. We don't need to get people hurt. We don't need to play. We already played one time. Make them the 1 seed. We'll be the 2 seed. We're both going to play for the playoffs, but it's a conference championship game, and we know they're for money and TV ratings.
I don't know if y'all have gotten to these super chats, but I got to say this one. I did from Daryl Redeker. I did not see this offense pushing around their front 7 like this. Pancake Factory working on them. Absolutely, Daryl. These guys, many of them, maybe the final home game for all 5 of those starters, but certainly for Jake Majors, Hayden Connor, and Kelvin Banks, most likely Cam Williams too. You've got DJ Campbell doing work as well. And then this one, Lane crying at the post-game press conference. Look, he went all in on this season in the portal and did not have it. Just couldn't get it done, in my opinion. So,
well, and Jerry said this when I first came on, Bobby, about Florida, but about the Ole Miss loss. I mean, that's going to be painted more as an Ole Miss loss than it is. That's their second home loss now. Kentucky and Florida, that's not a good way to ruin your season, losing those 2 games to those 2 teams at now But that Florida win does buoy Texas's blowout win over Florida, right? Florida's now responded with LSU and a win over Ole Miss. I mean, that helps Texas's strength of schedule without a doubt. And I know that Texas didn't have to face DJ Lagway in that game, but still they hung 49 points on that defense. And really that game was 35-0 at one point and not really a close game at all.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And I've got to say this. I mean, Florida believes right now. They've got someone to believe in my opinion, in DJ Lagway. I've got no problem with them eventually being a great football team with DJ Lagway at quarterback because he can move around in the pocket. He throws a beautiful deep ball. And so, look, Florida's going to be a team that Texas has to go to Gainesville next year. Going to be a tough team. But I said this at the tailgate earlier today to some people. They've got a 1-2 punch that are both freshmen in Lagway and Jaden Ball.
Yeah,
Jaden Ball, number 13 for them, is a baller. I mean, he is just – I'll take him every day of the week right now. I mean, really.
He reminds me of, Bobby, when you see him run with those feet at that, 230, 235?
Le'Veon Bell?
He reminds me a little bit of Maurice Claret.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Hey, same number.
Right. Now, I think that's probably what helps it, but it's kind of the same size and really quick feet for a big guy. Now, I know that was a long time ago, but Maurice, of course, he was a freshman and Ohio State won the national championship. Then he got in all kinds of trouble. Hey, our halftime conversation brought to you by our friends at One Source Gas of Austin. If you own a business that uses compressed gas needs on a daily and the weekly, you need One Source Gas, whether it's the CO2, so important for you restaurants and bars and venues, soda machines. Got to have that compressed gas. You need it on time. You need it to work and be reliable. Richard Strever and his team at One Source are the best. They're taking market share here all up and down I-35 in Central Texas because it's like a good umpire or a good official. You just don't even notice them. You just get your gas and you're good. Propane as well. If you're in the medical industry, veterinary, industrial, they have all the gases you need, from propane to the oxygen, CO2, all the way down, delivered. Trucks start rolling early at One Source Gas of Austin. Find that website, onesourcegasatx.com. Hey, Rod Babers, how are you, bud? Pretty good first half. 200 yards of offense to 99 and a 17-point lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those that we talked about, the Sark run all the time, right? The run that happens with the element of complementary football. I mean, you saw that in the second quarter, basically midway through the second quarter. Texas scored right after they scored the touchdown. Texas responds with a touchdown, gets the interception, get another touchdown, get the 3 and out, get the field goal, and that you probably. I mean, I'm not saying the game is done. The game is not done. You still got a lot of football to play, but that's that haymaker that Sark's team, this team is designed, I think, to deliver. And you saw it right there. I mean, it was kind of a close game for a second there, right? For a quarter and a half. They were going back and forth, and then Texas delivered a couple of haymakers there, and now we got true separation. Cisco, thank you for the question. That was one of the, I mean, I'm not going to lie, that was one of the greatest interceptions I've ever seen, just athletically. That was amazing. I was hoping they'd give it to him too. I mean, I did see him boggle a little bit, but I think he got his hands under it. That was truly amazing, man. It was because he ended up basically what he was supposed to do was reroute the other receivers playing zone coverage there. So he reroutes the number one, essentially stonewalls the number one, then flips his hips to come back to eyes on the quarterback the whole time. Eyes on the quarterback, flips his hips. And he's not supposed to be there. That's kind of why the quarterback threw it there. It's like, no, that guy, he's supposed to be preoccupied. There was a wheel route going. Like, that guy ain't going to be there. That's just a freakish athletic play. I'm putting that more as a great defensive play and not so much on Vandergriff. I mean, I know he throws some picks, but, guys, that's just that was a hell of a defensive play. That was amazing. I mean, I hope when he gets drafted, I don't know if they go back that far, but that's draft highlight reel stuff right
Rod,
there. That's it. Got to be on
exactly what I said, Rod. I said, Jerry, that's one that you put on your draft resume, your draft highlight. And you got to know every NFL scout that is here watching this game. They wrote, we were here to see Jade and Manny Muhammad. I'm writing down, who's this 25 guy? He's now on my notebook. We're keeping an eye on Jelani. Rod, can we start calling Jelani's turnovers happy steals? I like that. From McDonald's.
I like it.
We get a toy with that. Hey, Rod, what's your thought on these pass interferences in the end zone that aren't getting called? It felt like, Isaiah Black got hit in the face before the ball got there, and his hands are that seemed early. The other one in the first quarter was questionable too, I thought.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That obviously they're letting them play in that regard. So my advice to the Texas receivers would be, okay, go fight through them. And maybe they'll call it for you. Go fight through them. Really go. You go. I mean, not saying you should be the aggressor in that situation because they seem to be allowing some early contact. Right?
Yeah.
So,
the Texas DBs can borrow that too. They better keep it
exactly. That's kind of how I feel. That's exactly. They don't throw it deep. So they threw it deep like one time that rollout.
Bobby, I know you get, but I was going to mention on Matthew. He put up the drive charts. The story of this game, Bobby. Texas has really one bad drive. Florida or Kentucky has one drive. I mean, the one bad drive where Texas punted, then you look over here and there's one drive for Kentucky. There's, 4 good ones. Even the downs was a good drive. You went 53 yards in 9 plays. One bad drive for Texas offensively, only one good drive for Kentucky.
It's like I said, they've scored on 4 of 5 possessions, 4 of 6 possessions. What else do you want? right? I mean, against the defense, it's pretty good. Rod, I said when I first came on, Jerry's been on this whole time. This is 3 consecutive high-level quarters for Texas, in my opinion. If you really go back to Arkansas in the fourth quarter, you agree with that? I mean, pretty high-level quarters. Aaron's taking a break here. Jerry's going to come back in for me as well.
I agree,
Rod, you guys talk. But I thought that, Quinn, I thought that they're not lighting Quinn up at all right now. I don't know why they're not. I would try to, but maybe Texas is running the ball enough, you think, successfully to keep them from stopping to do that. I mean, a couple of times they brought the blitz and Blues outflanked them to the outside. Yeah. Right. I mean, and so interesting stuff there. Jerry, you want to come back in, bud? Jerry's going to join you here, Rod. I'll let you take it. I think Aaron stepped away for a few minutes. Okay.
Yep. No, I'll say this. I like the play calling of Sark right now, guys. It's a lot of variety in the offense. You saw the pony package early. Matter of fact, I gotta go check my notes. I think we've seen more of the pony package in the first half in this game than we've seen in any game so far this year. I count 10 plays of it, and that's not including they put DeAndre Moore in the backfield for a 21 look. He kind of was like based as another kind of fullback in the backfield. They put him in there, and I didn't count the 31 personnel grouping either. So I don't think we've seen this much pony package for Texas in any half of football. Matter of fact, it might be the most we've seen in any game. Him throwing it out there this much. So a lot of more diversity in the offense. I do like that. I think that's good too. And I'll throw out there the trust factor, Jerry, early on. So much golden and helm. Yes. Golden and helm. That's, to me, that is why the offense seems to be flowing a lot. Seems to be a lot of golden and helm. Guys, they do nothing against Bond or Moore, but I think both those guys are banged up a little bit. Yeah. And so I think they're funneling more usage to gut. But whatever it is, it seems to be going a lot to golden and helm.
Barry and Brown returns the opening kickoff to the 20.
Oh, dude, that dude almost had it. I don't know what the fumble he had. I don't know.
Rod, he has bad hands. He scares you to death, but he is a jetpack.
That was scary, man. Because he might have been going for 6 on that one. I'm not gonna lie, guys. He might have been going for 6 on that one. That was lucky. It was with us.
Yeah, that's something Sark talked about all week, guys, is the Kentucky manufacturing yards with their special teams. There's a sack to start it. Trey Moore off the edge, exactly how you wanted to start the second half. Get this ball back. Did we get an update at all on Quinn from Sark?
No, but we have a new quarterback for Kentucky.
Oh.
Damn. Okay. Well, you got to try something, I guess. You got to try something.
Yeah, I mean, in the first half, Vandergrift completed 3 passes. So, you got to have better than that.
Misdirection against Trey Moore doesn't really work.
I would say this about the balls that Vandergrift completed, though, because I went back and looked it up because I remember mentioning this stat during the week. That bomb that he completed was outside the pocket. He was rolling out. He has the third best explosive pass rate outside the pocket in the SEC of all the quarterbacks. He was outside the pocket. When he's outside the pocket, when he's most dangerous. He's kind of just chaos. He's kind of an agent of chaos. And then even the touchdown pass, right? He's rolling. He dropped back 16 yards or something like that. Like, he's one of them dudes. It's weird. I don't get it. But
that time, big play for Kentucky, 43 yards to Barron Brown. And do you see? Looked like the new quarterback used his eyes to move Jahdae Barron a little bit. Remember how Jahdae likes to come off coverage and get those interceptions? That time, they used his eyes, and then he let his own guy go.
Yeah, good thing that wasn't an accurate ball. So that's an easy 6 to Barry and Brown.
Yeah, because he's a speedster, man.
Yeah,
world class.
He would have still been running.
Well, that was unfortunate because Texas did a great job on the sack, and then second and long, they convert the big one. Got Jahdae Barron being too aggressive, I thought, right there. But here we go. Texas has to bow up and play defense.
And then they're going to run counter, Rod. That's their run. That's their bread and butter in the run game is counter.
Yeah.
Hey, Rod, Hail No asked this. How would you grade the first half for the offense and defense?
I like the offense, what they did. I like what Quinn did offensively. I thought they were running the football. So defensively, I'll give them a A-. Offensively, I'll give them an A- as well. I'll give them an A- both all around. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think
I
so
got a lot
too.
of
That's
respect for
probably would be
Kentucky's
mine.
defense. Kentucky's defense is they're not any. That's not a pushover defense.
No, I've been surprised how effectively Texas has run the football.
Yeah, Texas
But here
run the
comes
football, man.
Here comes a third down. It's going to be third and after the loss of one, Barron Sorrell again, getting penetration that time. But Texas, after giving up the big 43-yard shot, and Sadir Mitchell on the field making plays too.
Yeah, you can't move Sadir. This is Sadir Mitchell. It takes some of these guys longer, but his talent level is the same as it was when Georgia and Texas were fighting for this kid. I hope the light has come on for him, and we see tremendous things the next couple of years.
Oh, man,
I got it, man.
There's going to be a hold though, Rod. There'll be a holding call. That's big for Texas because they brought that double middle linebacker blitz that time, guys. They brought Anthony Hill and Leon Lafau in a blitz, and one of them got held.
Well,
And
Janae Barron was in there. I think they were in that NASCAR nickel.
Yeah, Kentucky quarterback wants hands to the face too. Not going to get it.
Well, that came early, so holding now it's going to be 3rd and 16. Longhorns have a chance to get off the field.
No.
And that was 2 explosive plays. This quarterback's come in with the idea of pushing it down the field. Cutter Boley.
Yeah, he's bringing those safety blitzes. I would say that's one thing we've seen work against Texas a couple of times, though. If you can get that, if you got time to complete the deep over, that long, deep crossing route, that long rainbow crosser, it's there because it basically violates their zone coverage. They don't pass it off and they don't match it. Ooh, got it. Oh.
All right, so Texas is going to get off the field here again. We've mentioned Kentucky with really one scoring drive. Keep an eye on something here. It's 3rd and 10, so I don't think they'd fake it, but Mark Stoops always tries to manufacture points with his special teams.
Yeah, you got no chance. When Texas is in that NASCAR
We're
down, you got
4th and 10.
You got no shot.
4th and 10, they're going to take a false start.
Yeah, penalties now. Yeah, they're going to back it up a little bit. Penalties now 4 for 26 for Kentucky, 4 for 25 for Texas. And I know they're talking about that helmet to helmet on Michael Taff on the quarterback on the play where there was a holding call. You know, I'm glad they didn't go there, but quarterback wanted it.
Living rent free. How in the hell was Vandegrift rated a 5-star? People in our industry rank quarterbacks really high because they're scared to miss on the guy that was ranked too low, and his dad's a high school football coach and he signed with Georgia.
Boom.
All your answers.
There you have it.
Oh, Silas. That's a rare mistake for Silas Bolden. He called fair catch, but they had it blocked. He had a lane.
And he's usually fearless, right? He's usually taking chances.
Yes.
He usually takes unnecessary chances, and there he's just like, I'm gonna play it safe.
Yeah, he's the squirrel jumping from tree to tree with no regard for his body.
That's a great description, Jerry. That is chef's kiss right there, brother. That is it. That's good. I thought Quinn played well in the first half, though.
Rod, you know, it's the same we always talk about with Quinn. If the offensive line gives him a lane, it gives him time in a pocket to step into, and Sark's plays have time to develop, he's a witch in the intermediate passing game.
Yep, he really is.
I'm shocked how well Texas has run the ball. I mean, that was just that was a good make you miss play right there by Wisner. But Texas has run it on counter. They've run it in the zone.
Outside zone. Yep.
Yeah. They've run everything's been successful running the football. And Rod, I talked about this. Deone Walker, as tremendous of a prospect as he is, he'll play out of his gap at times in the run game.
Florida
Florida
he can get back to it. He thinks he can freak because he does actually a lot of times. He does.
He just made a play. He just made a great play on Jaden Blue or on Wisner that time. So that second and 2, they ran it again. One of those little misdirection plays and zero.
Yep.
Dagner pulled the ball out.
Yep, that's him. And that was in my that was in my pony. Got them saying they got to be running pony more than they run any other game. I mean it's so
all right, now third down, guys. Texas was 2 for 4 on third downs in the first half. Let's see what they do here. And it was a third down conversion for Quinn, the first drive of the game that got that drive going. Now this one's going to end up come up short. So Silas Bolden catching the ball inside of his own 10-yard line, hurt the Longhorns there, calling a fair catch. And then the not able to convert after 2nd and 2 and not converting. That hurts, guys.
Yeah, the negative play. Starts right. I mean, negative plays for some reason. I guess it's because of the kind of the structure of the offense. They really set Texas back. Like that's really when Texas offense stalls is when they get any kind of negative play. And once they got that negative play on 2nd down,
guys, it's time to pull Quinn out of this game. He's limping way too much to be effective if Kentucky gets any pressure. You got a huge game next week. I know he doesn't want to come out of the game at senior day, but I would say you got to get him out of the game with the way he just looked running off the football field. He didn't look like a guy that can play effectively.
I don't disagree. I mean, he was limping. Notice I don't know if he further aggravated it on one of those plays right there, but he did not look good there. And that's going to be one. Well, I mean, it's 24-7, so Longhorns still in control. Defense playing great, but to get to 2nd and 2 and not get the first down, that's one that's going to stick in Sark's craw for sure. Get 8 yards on first down and don't get a first down.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's the new Dua Lipa commercial. I hadn't seen that one. By the way, it's Kansas 23, Colorado 21 now.
The crazy thing about it, if Quinn is indeed, because I agree that he does look very gimpy. Why call a rollout there?
Yeah. Right. Arizona State 27, BYU 9. By the way, for those wondering about that game, Missouri's beaten Mississippi State by 2 touchdowns in the SEC. South Carolina's playing Wofford, so they're going to win. If you're wondering about some scores from around, Michigan up big on Northwestern as they should be. Nebraska up big on Wisconsin. And Minnesota 22, Penn State 16. 5:40 to go in the third.
Yeah, Minnesota, I'm kind of watching this game when they go to breaks. I check over here, but Minnesota's moving the ball. Penn State's got one of the alleged best defenses in the country, and they're giving up a lot of yards to this Minnesota team that's not great offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, look, and Penn State has no margin for error. They lose this game, they're out. They're done. Yep. Which makes the Ole Miss loss very interesting to me because, it was starting to break for the SEC if you had 5, 10, and 2s. I mean, technically, I guess you still could. That's still out there. So it would just be the 10 and 2 Texas fans don't want. Because that means Texas would be 10 and 2 and A&M would win out and be 10 and 2. Things are starting to break for the SEC. I think Notre Dame's going to have a tough time, a tough game out at USC. It'll be just the type of game USC rises up and wins. But that Ole Miss loss today really opened it up for the Big Ten to get in for.
But if Penn State loses today, they're going to be out, and Indiana doesn't have. They got Purdue left. I mean, they'll get in. One of them will get in, but neither resume strong for Penn State or Indiana.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
What James Lee said, ASU in the Big 12 championship if they beat Arizona. Yeah, and beyond that, Arizona State wins out there in the college football playoff after being 3-9 last year.
That's crazy.
Kenny Dillingham. What is he, like 34 years old, that coach?
Yeah, and Arizona State graduate. They brought him home, and he's doing a really good job out there. The crazy thing is the running back Scatabo, no offers come out of high school, went to Sacramento State. He's going to play in the NFL. Jaden Rashad of that whole saga, he transfers out and goes to Georgia. But you know what? Levitt comes in from Michigan State, and he's a better player. I mean, it's funny how some of this stuff works out. And by the way, a few former Texas commit signees or players a part of that Arizona State defense that's playing pretty well in the Big 12, giving them a chance.
Josh Smith's on that team, isn't he? Is that his name, Josh, the kid from California?
Yes, Jake Smith. Yep, Jake Smith.
Jake Smith, yeah.
Zach Swanson is a rotational player for them. Xavion Alford, the safety from Shadow Creek, who signed with Texas, transferred to USC, now at Arizona State. He's actually having a really good season for Arizona State. Jake Smith does play some. Troy O'Meara's just never been able to get back healthy. Jamon Tapp is not in the rotation. But they have Clayton Smith, who transferred from Oklahoma. Prince Dorba, who transferred from Texas, in the rotation there as well.
They've got a little spark with this offense with this new quarterback in there. Cutter Boley has come in and stretched the field a little bit, made some good throws down the field. He had one dropped a minute ago, and now they're running the ball.
I'm about to say, they just dropped one of them because he put some smoke on it, but he's definitely got a spark. No doubt about it.
Yeah, he's got some confidence to him that we did not see from Mr. Soap opera star Brock Vandegrift. Dr. Brock.
Dr. Brock.
There's Colin Simmons making a play. Longhorns. That was way too readable, way too predictable that time.
And Cutter Boley, look, he's going to be a good story if he does well at Kentucky. He's a home state kid from Hodgenville, Kentucky. Anybody ever been to Hodgenville? I have not.
Have not.
He's
a big tall kid. Big tall kid.
Yeah, 6'5", 215. He's confident, like you said, Aaron. He's playing with confidence. He's coming in the game acting like he belongs.
No, that one was not his best. But the Longhorns now have a 3rd and long. Kentucky in field goal range, so if they don't get this, they'll probably kick it, get it to a 2-score game. But yeah, that was, if Kentucky gets points here, you got the Longhorns have to, the special teams, Silas Bolden's decision to fair catch inside the 10, and then another short punt from the punter. And, this drive started in Texas territory. Another effective running play, and might even get it. They're going to go for it now, guys. That's 9 yards. That's 10 yards on 3rd down. Always like that, especially if you're thinking about going for it. You're running in a passing down. They got that NASCAR dime in there, Rod.
It's a smart play, though. If you're going against a NASCAR dime, they're light. Right now,
NASCAR dime light box, man.
Yeah, why not do it? It makes sense. That's a great coaching adjustment by them. And for some reason, this kid's running style works good against Texas. His running style, it does. He's got a couple of really good runs against Texas defense.
Longhorns are going to get the stop, though. They brought the run blitz right into I don't know who the blitzing linebacker was, but that is a big stop for Texas and a big defensive effort by the best defense in the country.
Now, Mo Blackwell looks like blew it up. Mo Blackwell just blew it up.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's one of those. If you're the quarterback, if you had done a hard count, it was going to be over.
Yeah.
Hey, Jermaine Lola's had a hell of a season, man. When he's healthy, he is a really good football player.
Yeah, that was a great play. Great play call just to create chaos, but he timed it out perfectly and blew up the guard.
He did.
Yeah.
But that's one of those more experienced quarterbacks can hard count that and get his first down on a penalty.
Yep. That was a good play. Really was.
Good play. Real good play.
This Texas defense is clutch, man. They do that. That's what they've been doing all year long. We've seen teams kind of move. Even Arkansas last week, right? They moved the ball a little bit, and late when they were moving the ball, they found some things that were working. You talked about it, Jerry, in the running game, going off that left side. Texas made a clutch play. So in addition to being really good, they're also pretty clutch when they need to be too.
Let me mention that Kansas has scored again. That running game with Lance Leipold just wearing out the Colorado defense. It's now 30-21. Meanwhile, Penn State has taken the lead over Minnesota. That scored 23-22.
Major Applewhite up 35-14. Are they going to get bowl eligible? South Alabama.
So I wonder if, so do you think Texas comes out with Archer Quinn? Do you think
Yeah, that's what we're going to see right here.
You know,
they are up. They are. I mean, this is not a safe enough league, but it is a safe league considering how your defense plays. Even if you want to say that it's not necessarily injury related, you still could say you put Archer in. But I don't know. That's if he put him in, it would definitely be because of the injury. But
yeah. But then the Sark even want to go there because what if
I know that's
it up and it's just
exactly
going into the A&M game. All you hear all week is who should be the starter against A&M. I mean, the way Quinn limped off that field, I'm not sure I would play him again.
Yeah, you don't want him to get hurt. He's kind of a sitting duck back there right now. He's already banged up, but it doesn't seem like a major thing that he can be good for the Aggie game. You don't want to get anything else going on.
Because he's one more sack and that thing getting rolled up from not playing next week.
Yep.
I mean, so if Texas has a pass pro bust for the first time today, and they roll up his ankle, he's out. I mean, so I don't know. I think you got to protect next week a little bit against a team that's going to have a trouble scoring against you in Kentucky.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in an ideal world, Sark would get, one more touchdown on the board and then go there, get it up 31-7, but obviously you got to get that ball in the end zone. We'll see. We'll all watch. And if you're at the stadium and texting Jerry, let us know.
Hey, by the way, I ran into Jackson Jeffcoat today around the stadium, and
nice.
He said he's gonna come on talk with us next week here on Texas football. So
cool.
We'll get his perspective because I believe he played in this A&M Texas game they're talking about right here.
Oh man, love me some Jackson Jeffcoat.
Great human, right, Rod? Great human.
Great dude. Hell of a play. Just a naturally great pass rusher. I want to ask him about his time in Canada. He's won some championships up there in Canada for a while. He played for a while too. I mean,
he did.
Yeah.
And you know what, Rod? He was a guy that had some really bad back injuries coming out of high school that kind of affected him in college.
Oh, I didn't realize that actually.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, the Quinn did not look very mobile on that first pass. He could not do very gingerly in the pocket, which is not a good thing to have your quarterback doing. They're going to settle. Oh, ball's on the ground. Jaden Blue. Another fumble for Blue. That hurts because now his rate of putting the ball on the ground is way too high.
It's hard, and you know what? It's hard to hand him the football and not just play him on the perimeter and I don't know if he'll ever get this fixed, but it's hard to continue to go back to the well with this guy running the football between the tackles. I mean, it just is, because I know he has had fumble outside the tackle as well, but you're more susceptible inside the tackles.
Yeah, he fumbled the ball at the goal line in this game, but he had got across the plane.
Yeah.
But now this is what Texas can't do, right? The way they keep these games close is turning the football over. Sark said, coming out of that second bye week, they want to lead the nation in turnover margin the rest of the way with this defense and this offense. And today they're 1-1. Here comes more pressure. And a good throw that time. This quarterback's brought some spark to this offense.
Ooh. Oh man, that was just a nice throw.
Was nice. Right into the zone, found his man. That's the second big play that they've made outside the pocket. These Kentucky quarterbacks.
Yeah, if you can buy time, that means, as Jerry said, you got to get around Trey Moore and Colin Simmons and all these and Barron Sorrell. If you can do it, you may be able to make some plays.
Hey, it's bad when your 18-year-old son said, "I have never seen a back fumble a ball this much ever." That's when it's bad, when your kids start wrecking. Rod, one day your daughter's going to be like watching the game, and she's going to text you, "What is going on? This guy fumbles a lot." That's what just happened in my life.
Fumbles and drops, man. Drops too.
Good stuff right there. Barron Sorrells, they got it to the goal line and now went backwards on that play. It's going to be a third down, obviously 2-down territory for Kentucky here. Third quarter brought to you by Texas Countertops. Chris Nixon and the team, best countertops in Austin. We'll tell you about them coming up. Bringing to the third quarter here on the On Texas Football Channel. This game closer than it needs to be right now. Longhorns have not played a good second quarter. Special teams, a fumble now. Quinn Ewers is limping around, and we'll see if the defense can keep doing what they do. They just got to stop on fourth down. Now this is going to be third and short.
I just called him clutch.
There it is. Anthony Hill, his second sack of the game, and that's a big one. They're going to kick a field goal now.
Yeah, it's a big one. That was a huge, huge play in this game. Huge. You do not want this game getting 24-14 heading into the fourth quarter. I know we're not even close to the fourth quarter, but. And by the way, freshman quarterback, you got to throw the ball into the stands. You had 3.25 seconds. That ball's got to be out. Throw it to the goalpost or nobody can catch it.
Yeah, he's rolling to his left, or else he probably would have. But yeah, that's Anthony Hill, man. That closing speed. That's another sack. He's got 2 today.
Yeah.
And they missed the field goal. Oh my gosh, the bullet dodged. Jaden Blue's like doing Hail Marys right now.
By the way, I counted that. That was a little over 4 seconds the quarterback had to get rid of the ball. He got get rid of that football.
Yep. And that's the difference. Otherwise, that's a chip shot.
Yep. Kentucky fans just looked at the basketball schedule, see who's Tuesday.
Man. Yeah. Great play by the defense, and offense can't cash in on it.
So that is 4 sacks for Texas. They may get 6 or 7 sacks in this game at this rate.
If Kentucky is still if they don't wave the white flag, yeah.
Right.
They're gonna, but I mean, this is now Texas has 10 yards in the third quarter, guys. They got to get a drive going here.
Well, yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, that the run game was working, but if you don't have, if Quinn's obviously dealing with an injury, then it limits you. And if they know that, if y'all see it, then they see it. Yeah. So they're obviously adjusting their game plan accordingly. So,
well, yeah, that's a defense now that kind of smells blood in the water a little bit, that they can get after this quarterback, and that gives them confidence. And Jaden Blue's got to hold on to the football. That was a 7 yard run before he fumbled the ball.
Yeah, and they were running out of the pony too, doing pretty good. Sark's falling in love with it, and now Jaden's probably screwed up for the pony package too. I guarantee Sark's like, we're not going back to the damn pony. Put it in 12 personnel. Put it in 1.
Yeah. Look, I just don't think Quinn looks like he can move well enough to play right now.
I agree with you. I mean,
that's my problem. Is he looks. I mean, that ankle's getting stiffer as the game's moving along.
Yeah, I mean, Arch could at least bring a run element to this thing, and you're up 17 points. I think the biggest concern is the further risk for injury.
Yes,
without being able to avoid oncoming pass rushers.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see what Sark does here. I don't know what the other factors are that he's weighing here, other than can Quinn, effectively execute out there? Is he healthy enough to execute? Because I'm with you guys right now. It seems pretty obvious that he's not. So,
well, and here's the thing: is he going to be able to step into throws right now too? I mean, like, he is so good in the intermediate game. What's his timing like? Is going to be like in the intermediate game with not being able to move like he is with that ankle, putting the pressure on it. I think it totally changes what Sark can call right now, and that's a bad place to be, because suddenly, Rod, that cover 4 looks a lot tougher.
Oh yeah,
this is one. There'll be a lot of however this plays out. I mean, there's going to be a lot of questioning on the post game for sure coming up here on the On Texas Football Channel. But I would also say, there's a part of Quinn that wants to show he can play through this, right? And he can be tough, and he can, that's his draft stock. He wants to show that he can lead and play through some pain and still lead his team. So, I mean, but Sark's got to do his best for the team right now.
I agree with that. I mean, there's definitely data points on his evaluation now that talk about his injury concerns, injury history, and that he may be injury prone. So you don't want to get he's getting banged up at least once a year. You don't want to have that happen multiple times in a season and have that kind of reputation. So I get that, but That's not up to Quinn. You can leave it up to the player. The player's going to want to play every time. Miss, you got to take my helmet away from me. That's just the way it is. And every Warrior, that should be the case. But I agree, if you're hurting the team, but maybe Sark believes that he can adjust the game plan with Quinn in there being.
Now they put in Jared Gibson and he fumbles the ball. I mean, this thing is what is happening? Kelvin Banks jumped on top of it, but that's going to be second and long now. Quinn is back in the game, obviously.
Yeah,
he's running backs, man.
He feels like he can execute it with Quinn.
All right, there's a first down run. Jared Gibson's going to get some. There's Troy Wisner. He's the one guy that holds on to the ball.
Yeah, Wisner better be ready for a 20 carry game because here it comes.
Wow.
And, I think there's probably part of Sark here that's saying, you know what, guys, our quarterback's not 100%. Let's go line up and smash this team and get some running yards. Running backs just have to hold the ball. Whoa, ball.
They've been running the football effectively. We said that when, we at halftime, right? They've been running the football effectively. They just, stays in the way. Negative play every now and then. Well,
that's a game changer right there, guys. Now that missed field goal is huge. Quinn should not be in this football game right now.
No.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
They can't. They just can't do it.
Whoa.
Can't do it.
Wow.
He's just not mobile enough, guys. He's just sitting duck back there.
You can't even step into a throw, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I was wondering. Like, what can you call if you can't step into a throw and you can't move in the pocket if they get any pressure?
Oh, man.
Look, I mean, it's no chance.
Yeah, you got to take him out.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah.
And now it's a 10-point game. And how big does that missed field goal look that we just had for Kentucky? That's 2 turnovers in the Kentucky zone. They've added 10 points.
How many fumbles has Texas had today?
A lot.
We had 5 fumbles today. Silas Bowden fumbled. Jalen Blue fumbled. Right? Jared Gibson fumbled. Quinn just fumbled.
Yeah, Quinn's that's going to go down as an INT officially, right?
Oh, officially an INT. Okay. Feels like a fumble.
Hey, takes a fumble away.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is
what, three fumbles and a pick fumble, essentially.
I don't know what the hell that was. Yeah. I guess it technically can go down if his arm was going forward. It felt like it was more of a strip sack of the fumble. I don't know what it hit. Right. Oh yeah, right there. Number 8. Oh yeah. See, that's kind of a strip sack, honestly. I think because he tips it.
Yeah.
The
defense his elbow. Yeah, the ball was coming loose, and then he tried to
And here's the deal. And here's the deal. Kentucky's going to start bringing more pressure. They know he can't move.
Right? Yeah, hell yeah. And he can't step into a throw, so he can't drive it downfield.
Right. I mean, so the offensive line's about to face 2 extra rushers the rest of this game. If Quinn stays in the game because he can't move.
And play man on the back end, making a tight window throw. He's going to be late on it anyway. You're good.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree. I think you got it. That play made it pretty obvious.
And you're risking further injury to your quarterback, and now you're putting this game at risk if you're not careful.
You're putting the game at risk. Yeah, is it the quarterback thing? You can address that, but now they're putting the game at risk. Like, you got to win the game.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to criticize Quinn if he comes out of this game. He's not healthy. I mean, that's just the name of the game. And when it starts to affect the ball club, I mean, this team has been totally discombobulated here in this third quarter. They all know Quinn's hurt. Running backs can't hang on to the ball. And as you just said, Jerry, the pass rushers are licking their chops right now. And there's Quinn back in the game.
Back in the game. And if I'm Kentucky, I'm bringing 7.
That's crazy. 0 blitz, Jerry? 0.
Yes. Oh, by the way, they changed Quinn to a fumble officially, not interception.
Yeah. So how many fumbles we got? That's 4
fumbles, 2 lost. 4 fumbles, 2 lost.
Well, this Kentucky defense that the Texas Longhorns put up 300 yards of offense on in the first half has come alive here in the second half. That's another negative play on first down. Didn't get a block on the outside. And Texas is going the wrong way here. And this Kentucky team is starting to sense something.
Yeah. Dumbfounded by the decision because now it makes you predictable.
Boy, Trey Wisner with a big run right there. Good blocking that time.
Might just need to just run the rock. Maybe one of those games, you just run the rock, man. Just run it.
Yeah.
You can run. You're running the rock pretty well. I know.
We're running counter on them. Looks like Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's working. Let's just go with it. Oh, that was. He got it down. He got it downfield.
Yeah, and look, and Jesse Palmer said on the telecast, somebody said they're anticipating quick throws now.
Yeah.
It's easier to jump those routes.
We'll take that. We'll take it.
Well, this quarter can't end soon enough for the Longhorns now. Good play call here. Great screen pass. Gunnar Helm's having a huge game, and now he's got a huge play. Longhorns are approaching field goal range already. That's the best. This is obviously the best drive of this quarter. They haven't scored any points in the quarter. The Kentucky has a touchdown, and they missed a field goal. Gunnar Helm's having a heck of a game, guys. He's 5 catches, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns. His senior day, going out with a good one.
Yeah, and you think about it. I mean, DeAndre Moore not playing, obviously. Isaiah Bond limited with the ankle. Sark's having to scheme up for 2 guys, pretty much, because for whatever reason, Quinn and Wingo don't click as well, and Quinn's going with the guys he absolutely trusts. Matthew Golden and DeAndre Morris too, and then Quinn and then Gunnar at tight end.
It's Helm and Golden, man.
Look out, Trey Wisner looking like the OU game, Trey Wisner. And you said it, Jerry. Get ready for a 20-carry game.
Yes.
He's got 14 now, and there's a whole fourth quarter to play. And now 15.
Woo.
He's almost over 100 yards. So, and Kelvin Banks is just whooping the left side of that Kentucky line.
I said, this is only just run it, man. Just run it. No, I'm serious. I'm cool with that. Run it and screen it. Run it and screen it all night long.
Yep. By the way, the third quarter that's gonna be the final play of the third quarter. Brought to you by the best countertops in Austin. That's my buddy Chris Nixon and his team, Texas Countertops. You see the website there, countertoptexas.com. That's going to be where you find them. They've been doing this 20 years. All the types of countertop that you want if you're doing a remodel of your house or of your kitchen. And here's the deal with them: you'll never go without a countertop. They'll rip out the old one in the morning. By the time you get home for dinner, it'll be already have the new one on there. It's going to look great for your home. If you do flip homes there and remodels there, but building a new house, make sure you go with Texas Countertops, the best in Central Texas. Lifelong Austinite Chris is, and he wants to help you. Go to their website, learn all about them. Countertoptexas.com. That's countertoptexas.com. All right, guys. In the halftime, Bobby was talking about the 3 previous quarters of play were really good for Texas. That's a third quarter Texas would go just as soon forget right there. This drive here at the end of the quarter gives you a little bit of hope, but that was not good to let Kentucky back in this game.
I do feel like you have confidence in your run game, though. I mean, that's much bigger issues, but the issue right now is winning the damn game, right? And moving the football effectively, converting. And I think you can run and screen offensively successfully versus Kentucky, because they're going to blitz you, as Jerry mentioned. They want to come after you. You know that. It's okay. Come after us. But if we can run the football effectively, that's going to negate the blitz. And if we can get the screen game going when they bring the blitz and do it effectively, and if Quinn can effectively execute that, that's also a strength we can use in this game. We don't know if we can push the football downfield successfully. We haven't seen it since we have, basically hypothesized, or everybody has alleged that he's now injured in some way, form, or fashion. So that's okay. There are other things that are working, and I think that's what Sark's leaning on right now. They are running the football effectively. I mean, they're getting chunk yards in the run game. So
they are. And that's, Trey Wiseman's having a heck of a game. Left side of the line, Hayden Connor and Kelvin Banks are manhandling their assignment. So just keep running it. I agree with you.
The only issue I have is, do you want to give it to Wisner 7-8 straight times and he gets dinged up before the A&M game? That's the issue when the other guys are fumbling. You need to have a rotation. Yes. Wisner's not built for 30 carries. If you're going to give it to him 10 times in the fourth quarter. That's the issue when guys are fumbling, is it really messes up your rotation. If Texas does not want Trey Wisner to carry this ball 25, 26, 27 times in this game, that's their issue right now.
I totally agree with you. You know, you're right. But at this point, right, that's lower on your priority list.
Yeah.
Because right now, right, it's a tight ball game. So I think right now your priority is win the game, which is why I agree with you about the Arch thing. Right? It's like, no, my priority right now is win the game. I'll deal with Quinn and his injury at another time. I'll deal with rotation of running backs and the pitch count at another time. Right now, hey, Trey, all day, every day, Trey, it's your damn day to shine. And Arch, you got to go because we don't know exactly how well Quinn can execute with the limitations with whatever he's dealing with physically. So I agree with you. Right now, that's all I would focus on if I am coach. But coach has got other things I think he's considering. But I think your prediction on Trey is going to happen. Trey's going to get this is going to be a 20 plus yard, 20 plus carry game for him easily, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean he's got 15, and we're starting the fourth quarter. Yeah, and you got 2 offensive possessions left at least.
Yep.
Do you think this is one of those? I don't think we'll see Jaden Blue again, right? I think that's it, right? He's done. Woo! 2 fumbles today.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we saw him again, but it would show a lot of faith that Sark has in him, and Sark has already shown a lot of trust in him. Every time he has, a setback like that, Sark shows us that he believes in, the redemption. And
by the way, Jaden Blue gets lucky; he doesn't have to carry the ball around campus next week. School's out for Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I don't know. You definitely don't see Jared Gibson again.
Guys, they got to get Quinn Ewers out of this game, guys. They're trying to give this game away.
I don't know this. Yeah.
Well, then right here, I think he throws a lateral that's going to lose more yards just to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the thought process is here. I don't know.
I'm with you. They're coming with pressure here. They know Quinn can't move, but they're in the empty. Oh, guys.
It's stupefying. I don't.
What a terrible stretch of football. It's similar to the Georgia game, guys, where just the wheels come off.
I think, you got to make an executive decision here. I'm not sure what Sark is going to do. It's pretty obvious to everybody. Even now, Kentucky, they know. And he can't throw the football down the field.
Nope.
That's why you're not calling plays to throw the football down the field.
And now you miss a field goal.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, the thing about this too is, and I get it. I get it. If Arch comes in and lights it up, then I get it.
You got to win
what you face in the media, but you got to win the football game.
Got to win the game, man. Win the game. That's number one. That's your number one objective.
If Kentucky can't stop the run game, can they stop it when a quarterback that's mobile's in? Probably not.
Yeah, those 2 plays coming out of the cut timeout for the quarter, just inexcusable. I mean, losing concentration, almost makes a mistake after recovering the fumble, and then that throw just was a bad throw there on 3rd and 18.
Yeah. It's been such a drastic shift from the first half Quinn to this Quinn that it's obvious something's off physically.
Well, he's got no foundation. We all know feet and footwork and all that stuff is the key to an accurate quarterback. And now here comes Kentucky. They're feeling life. They give them credit here. They've gone to a new quarterback. They were getting dominated at the half, and now they're dominated Texas here in this 3rd quarter. Into the 4th now.
RPO game. That was almost the exact same play that Jelani McDonald got the pick on, too.
It was.
They came back to it, and they actually went to the guy that he banged first. That was pretty good. Man.
Texas defense is still not allowed 200 yards in this game, yet they need to bow up right now.
That was a heck of a stop here. This would have been a big gasher run play. I don't know who came up and made the tackle, but that was a huge play. That was going to be a 15-yard run.
Good coverage, Manny Muhammad. Big third down here, guys.
Huge. I mean, it's 4-down territory for Kentucky at this point. If you're watching Quinn right now, I'm going for it if I don't get it.
I don't know. I might punt it and see if I can create another turnover.
That's true. That's
The way the
not
ball's
bad.
bouncing around like that.
If he puts Quinn out there again, yeah.
Well, that's true. It's true, Aaron. You might fumble it on inside your own red zone, inside your own 20.
Oh man, you turn around, he get a pick there.
Big pickup. This quarterback has brought some juice to this Kentucky offense, no doubt.
It's going to be the first time in a few years Kentucky hasn't gone to the portal for a quarterback. They got a young kid that's got a chance.
I said the key is that if you can buy yourself time and extend the play, again, once the play deteriorates, the Texas defense, the coverage does too.
Yeah.
Right? All their big plays against them have been these guys breaking the pocket, extending the play. And he's perfect for that. He really is. And you know they didn't game plan for him. I don't know if Texas had any game plan for this kid.
Whoop, ball. No, there's his mistake. That's tit for tat. He did play last week in the game against Murray State. So I mean, the Longhorns have film on him. But, yeah, they planned for Vandegrift, obviously.
Yeah, they beat them. They beat the hell out of Murray State.
All right, now 2nd and long, 2nd and 20. Texas needs to make a play defensively here. They have all game. Offense is not helping them right now. Offense played great in the first half. If you're just tuning in, they were done nothing in the second half and have been Keystone Cops.
Hmm.
All right, now it's going to be 3rd and 20, guys. Another good piece of coverage by Jalen Gilbo, and they are letting them play back there, guys. Those were no hankies coming down for pass interference, even though it's been pretty physical.
Yeah. And we said that they were letting the Kentucky DBs kind of be physical with the Texas wide receivers. And you said, they should let the Texas DBs should take note.
Yeah.
Take note. Hey, they'll let you bang it around a little bit. Go out there and bang it out. Go out there and bang it around. Hey.
All right, 3rd 20. We're probably getting NASCAR dime. I wonder if Kentucky's going to run the ball again.
Hey, I mean, you know what? I'd probably run it and try to get in the field goal range. But again, your kicker just missed a pretty easy one.
Exactly.
But if you can get this to one score, that puts a lot of pressure on Sark.
Yeah, they're going to have to punt at 4th and 20 now. Good job by the defense. Obviously, an unforced error by the quarterback for Kentucky helped a lot there. As he, just like Quinn did, took his eyes off the snap and lost 10 yards. Hard to make that up against this defense. Hard to get 10 yards on this defense.
Exactly.
All right, here comes Texas. Let's see what Silas Bolden's got to do you a favor here. And they can't fill or catch it inside the 5-yard line, especially with this offense right now. Oh, this is the ball like wet?
Something's happening. Man.
I don't think I've seen a team.
5 fumbles, right? 5 fumbles. And it's all the same guys. That's 2 for him, basically. I don't know if you call it a fumble or whatever.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. So, yeah, it's 6-6.
What was the 6th one?
Quinn snap.
Oh, wow. Man.
I don't think I've seen a team go from as good as they were in the first half and efficient to this.
6 fumbles, 2 lost.
That is unbelievable.
Sark's not going to have enough footballs to make guys carry around campus next week.
Well, right now, guys, they got a amount of drive, and we'll see. Doug Quinn does not look capable of being that. But this is Sark's why he gets the big bucks. I mean, you got to engineer a drive here from your own red zone or inside your own 20-yard line.
Well, the first decision comes out. Who do you put Quinn back out there? That's your first decision. That's number one. Then you put it back out there. Then you have a different game plan. Then it's going to change anyway. If you put Arch out there, but you got to figure out who your quarterback's going to be for this drive.
Well, I mean, it's been a quarter now, and you as you said, Jerry, it feels like it's getting worse as it goes. Right? It's stiffening up, and I mean, I'll just say this for Sark: you can lose this game if you put Manning in and you lose, you'll be forgiven. If you don't put Manning in and you lose this game, you will not be forgiven.
Yeah, your fans will be questioning you for the rest of the time. Bottom line.
Well, because it's not nothing against Quinn. This isn't one of those punishments. This is just a reality of a game.
It's injured.
That's crazy. 5 fumbles on the day. Yeah. We talked about how, Texas, if they're a defensive oriented team and that's their identity, how could they end up, getting in a compromising position? This is it. 5 fumbles. Right? We talk about playing. You got to play a clean game if you're going to be a defense oriented team.
Well, and look, Sark said that. I mean, he told the guys before the game, they're 21-3 in their last 24 games, and in the 3 games that they lost the turnover battle. Yeah. And right now they're losing their minds with the turnovers. And the other thing is, I mean, Sark said when they came out of their goal as a team coming out of the bye week, the second one was lead the nation in turnover margin, force the most, commit the fewest, and obviously that's not happening. First half looked really good. This has been a complete cluster. You know what, Rod? One of your favorite words. It's not been good here. It's pretty embarrassing, actually. They got to do something. And it's almost like the whole team's lost confidence because they know Quinn's hurt.
Yeah.
And look, somebody's like, why are we acting like Texas is going to lose? We're just talking about the game. Texas is up 10. But now the ball in the 14, and they've done nothing this half but turn it over. And it's been the same song all year. Texas is really the team. Texas has beat themselves. Georgia, you give credit to, but Texas has beaten themselves, whether that's drives within games, stalling out drives with untimely penalties, just the self-inflicted wounds, the unforced turnovers. It's things like that. And that's where we're at. I mean, that's where we're at again right now. And so they just got to look, you got to find a way to play a clean fourth quarter protecting the football.
Give it to Trey Wisner and run the rock.
Trey Wisner is over 100 yards, guys, with that run.
Give it to Trey and run the rock. You can win this game, even if there's something going on with Quinn. But just do what works. What works is run the rock.
Yeah. I by the way, I think we see DeAndre Moore in this game now as well.
Is he hurt?
There you go. See? It's 3rd and short. Run the rock.
No, I don't think it is. I thought I saw him, but I think I'm mistaken. I don't think he was playing today at all.
Who, DeAndre Moore?
Yeah.
He's out there, I thought.
Yeah, I think so he was in. I thought I saw him in.
I thought he's been out there.
They're using him to block in the run
game.
They're
using them sparingly. Yeah, it's like they're not using a lot of them.
They're using him to block in the run game. Ooh, there it is, right there.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like this is a game. This would be the second game that they had to win with the running game, right? Because the Oklahoma game was like that. They had to just lean on the running game. This is a good test to see if you can lean on the running game to win you a tough SEC matchup.
It's a big run. Trey Wisner's having one heck of a game. This is if they go on and hold on and win this ball game, he is getting a bunch of game balls because right now you don't trust either of the other 2 running backs to be on the field. And that's win this game or not, guys. That's the problem looking forward to next week.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing against a defensive front that creates pressure on a quarterback, and now they're going to have a 2-way go. They're going to be trying to rip the ball out too. Game ball to the offensive line, ski break 100%.
100%. And Kelvin Banks, they're running right behind Big 78.
Yeah.
In his final home game.
His final home game. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's all right behind 78. That's a you see that in the NFL, Rod, with your with the 49ers with Shanahan running behind what's the big left tackles? Trent Williams.
Trent Williams, yeah.
Just run up and behind him.
No, I mean I'm impressed. Texas imposing their will in the run game, and Kentucky knows they're going to run it.
Well, there's Jaden Blue.
Now here you go. I mean, because Wisner can't keep taking every handoff, so now you got to put Blue in.
2 hands on the football.
He's 2 hands on the football.
Well, this is impressive here. I mean, it's what we've been calling for. Just hand the ball off. But Sark would tell you, man, we were going to hand it off. We just kept dropping the ball. we getting ourselves outside of down and distance because we're dropping the football.
Yeah, man. Just run the rock. You've been running it on them, but now the big humans are starting to wear them down. Kentucky's worn down now. You can tell. They getting chunky yards on them.
Yeah. I mean, look, the running backs for Texas have carried it 34 times for 225 yards.
I like it. Let's do it. Keep going.
Well, the other thing, that clock's running under 8 minutes now. Even a field goal on this drive, and you're feeling pretty darn good. But can't turn it over. Now another 3rd and 1.
I mean, we're pretty much in 2-down territory here. You're not kicking a 52-yarder.
No, not the way you're running the ball right now.
Nah.
No holding calls. Gosh, Quinn is fumbling the ball.
Everybody's fumbling the ball.
Well, did you see that? That's the 3rd time he's bobbled the snap. It's almost like he's lost concentration because he's hurt. I don't know. I've never seen a quarterback this. Every time the ball snapped, I'm nervous.
Frazzled.
All runs on this drive. They are really shooting
know.
up over 400 yards of offense now.
Well, and I think it's pretty obvious that Sark knows, all right, something's up with Quinn. I'm not going to ask Quinn to do almost anything.
This is all brakes. This is all brakes, no gas.
Yeah, hand it off. And yeah, I'm doing it with my guy, but I'm handing it off. We're going to hand it off. There you go.
Now DJ Campbell's limping, guys.
I mean, they're just moving it downhill on them now.
They are. Just hold on to that ball.
Just hold on to the ball. I mean, this game's over. They just hold on to the ball. The game's done. Because they're just getting mashed.
And Trey Wisner, heck of a game. Another 1st down. And guys, let's be honest about this. A win here, no matter what happens next weekend, might have Texas in the playoff. I mean, you get 10-10-1. This win, what Florida did today, to Ole Miss to knock them out, but also help Texas' strength of schedule. That Florida win's looking more and more impressive each week now.
Yeah.
I think Texas gets to 10. They put themselves in a really good spot. Obviously, you want to go beat the Aggies. It's the biggest rivalry game maybe in the history of the matchup. But this is a big one to get this secured.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because you see Ole Miss lose today. You see Indiana lost. I mean, they lost, but Ohio State scored late, but still a 23-point loss.
Yeah.
Will Notre Dame win at USC? I mean, what A&M's got to win at Auburn tonight. Else the Texas game doesn't really matter for the playoffs next week. It matters for Texas getting in the playoffs, win or lose next week. You'd lose that game if A&M loses tonight and get in after Ole Miss lost today. So you're right, Aaron. I mean, this is huge. The way things are starting to fall, that Ole Miss loss was massive. Tennessee's still got to go on the road to Vanderbilt next week too. So the tough games continue for these teams. But I really look at Notre Dame at USC next week. That game's going to be interesting. I know USC's dauber's down, but that's a road game for Notre Dame. We've seen how this has gone in college football.
Jaden Blue, they're trusting him even between the tackles carries. He's got to hold that rock because he's about to be over 100 yards too. The Longhorns are going to have a 100-yard rusher and a 150-yard rusher.
They've got to get. Sark has no choice. He's got to hand it to him and trust him because he has no choice. You can't hand it to Trey Wisner 35 times and run him 14 times in a row on the drive. Hell, even Ricky Williams might have needed a break on one of those, Rod.
Yeah.
Hey, Matthew, can we look at this play drive? How many straight running plays is that?
Oh, it's all runs.
I know. Well, I'm just wondering how many plays we're on here.
Yeah.
Golly, look at that. It's going to be a 12-play, 13-play drive all on the ground to seal the game, essentially, if they could put it in here on 3rd and goal, though. 2-down territory, guys. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Matt. Here we go. It's going to be 4th and goal from the 1. I mean,
You go for it. That's also,
You-
this has been a 5-minute drive. There it is. 14 rushes, 85 yards, 8 minutes off the clock.
I mean, I got to say, though, a field goal makes it a Kentucky have to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you yeah. No, I agree with you. It doesn't matter, but I can see him going for it. You've been running the way you're running the ball, go for it. The way you're running the ball, I'd go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Or I
getting,
might put my backup quarterback in to run a quarterback sneak. I don't know. Big guy.
I'm going. Yeah. I mean, on this drive, you got to be averaging like 7-8 yards a pop.
They're going to review this to see if he got there. Look at this, guys. They may not need to go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely would though.
It's close, guys. Just got to break the plane.
I still go for it. Yeah.
That looks like a touchdown. They may reverse this one.
I think it's really close.
Yeah, I think they're going to reverse this. I think it's a touchdown. Let's see from this angle if the knee was down.
I think it's a touchdown.
I think
he cracks the plane. Yeah,
I think it's a touchdown.
he cracks the plane.
Real quick, guys, Arizona State trying to hang on now. BYU has the ball, 2 minutes to play, down 5. It's 28-23. Kansas now up on Colorado comfortably, 37-21, and they're gonna go over 500 yards of offense. Kansas is.
Yeah,
By the way, rushing yards in that Kansas Colorado game, 290 to 70.
Oof.
Not good.
By the way, can I give you guys a scenario that people need to pay attention to? If Kansas holds on and wins this game, they're late into the fourth quarter now.
You're going there. I love it.
The Big 12 may end up with a 12 seed.
Yeah.
In the playoff.
Yeah.
Because it's very, especially if Army wins today or if Boise State keeps winning, they're going to be ranked higher than anybody in the Big 12. So they're going to get a 4 like they are right now.
Yeah.
And the champion of the Big 12 will be the 12 seed.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Brett Yormark, not happy. But welcome to No Texas, No Oklahoma.
Yeah. You don't have a blue blood in there. Nobody that's going to demand that type of respect.
All right. Hey, call stands. Rod says go for it.
I say go.
Clark's going to go for it, but I'm just saying if you kick a field goal here, Kentucky has to score 2 touchdowns. Because winning is what matters.
Winning is what matters. But Sark's going to go for it.
Yeah, he's going for it. And could Kentucky drive at 99, get an onside kick, and then go score again?
Exactly. Sark's going for it. You know how Sark is. Because now the playoff is on his mind. He's like, I gotta win by a lot. You know, can't just win by
he's going for it. I was throwing out the alternative scenario.
Nah. I heard CDC talking about how Texas had kneeled down in 2 games. I was like, oh yeah, Texas about to try to run it up. They no more kneel downs, none of that stuff. No more playing conservative.
They're going diamond. Remember, they've given it to Jared Gibson out of this formation. They got a first down earlier.
Yeah.
Well, Trey Weiss is going to get it. It's going to be Trey Weiss.
There he is. He's in. Touchdown. 15 plays, 86 yards, all on the ground, 8 minutes and 22 seconds off the clock. That is, as that message says, a championship drive with a gimpy quarterback. And as Sark said, they asked him on ABC there during the timeout, the sideline reporter, he says, we just got to hold on to the damn ball. We just got to hold on to the ball. We'll be fine. Touchdown.
Yeah.
And he held on to the damn ball. So what a drive, guys. Did it last week against Arkansas to run out the game. This one pretty much runs out the game because, Kentucky's now down 17 points.
I believe my score prediction was 30-13. I was pretty close.
Good job, Rod. Well, but now this is a bettor's paradise because you're a pick 6 away from covering.
That's true.
And the over. The over-under is 46.5. We're at 45.
Wow.
The line was 20.5. So, oh, boy.
Hey, guys, one more time before we wrap up, let me tell you about our friends at ATX Trees. They were tremendous partners again today. And ATX Trees, my buddy Albert Cedillo, and his family-owned company that provides you tree service. But, hard to find out there, those established, mature trees that, up to 30 gallons. So they grow them in their tree farm here in Central Texas and have for years and years and years. And then when you need trees, mature trees at that, they pluck them up and bring them and install them at your house or your property, whatever it might be. Give a warranty, absolutely free. They're going to take care of those trees for lifetime, and they're going to look great. So atxtrees.com. That's atxtrees.com. Or just call Albert. Just go to that website. You'll find them. Family owned, family run for 25 years, and not a better tree company in Central Texas than ATX Trees. Check them out. And I also want to thank our friends at Texas Countertops and Grande Equipment, One Source Gas of Central Texas. Great people. That was a huge drive, guys. That was he was getting a little sweaty under the armpits there with all the calamities going on. But man, did you settle it down?
If the ball is going to go on the ground again. That's what it was just, you just wondered, is Texas going to put the ball on the ground? Is the snap going to be dropped? Is a tip pass going to happen? I mean, it was just, you just didn't know at this point.
Well, look, guys, 442 now. They rushed for 250, and they rushed for more yards than Kentucky has by about 50 yards.
No, that was about Trey Wisner and the O-line, man. That was simply the offensive line asserting. When we talk about how the Texas run game has not imposed its will really that often this season, that literally was a prime example of it. That was the epitome of imposing your will on an opponent. Was it 15 straight runs? 15 straight runs. Guys, I can tell you right now, that is emasculating for a defense. That's
especially a defensive-minded coach like that, and a defensive-minded program.
It's like, guys, they at this point they're telling us they're not going to throw it. They let
somebody said it was like Michigan, Penn State last year.
Yeah, no, that's crazy to run it that many times in a game. Texas did that once before. Remember that Baylor game? They didn't get Baylor. Remember that how they closed out that Baylor game?
Yep, no doubt.
A couple years ago, they were like, well, okay, because Quinn started having some meltdowns and they had some bad plays throwing the football, and he just like basically it was like the ghost of DKR was in there saying, if when you throw the football, 3 things can happen and 2 of them are bad. So just run the damn football. And Texas ran the football. That may be the last time I remember them running the ball as much as they did on that drive to seal the game.
By the way, and then craziness in the Big 12. BYU's driving on Arizona State, throws an interception, returns 64 yards down to like the 10. So Arizona State's going to win that game. BYU is in position to maybe steal that one, make a big comeback, but through a pick that was returned 64 yards.
Wow. Oof. That was impressive. That was some Joe Moore award winning offensive line.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat said that. Somebody in the chat said that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna win it, but that looked like it right there.
No, that's their audition tape for that award. Now, obviously, the Georgia game, they're not sending that one. Let's burn that, and we'll send this one.
Disregard the Georgia game. Look at this.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron. So if Kansas beats Colorado, because Big 12 is chaos, who's going for the Big 12? Arizona State and BYU still?
Yeah, I think BYU still.
So Arizona State and BYU will have to play twice in 3 weeks.
Ooh, Penn State just converted to the fourth down, guys, and they're going to run out the clock and beat Minnesota by the narrowest of margins, 26-25.
Wow.
That was it was kind of odd that the first half they went up and down the field, those two defensive teams, and they didn't do anything in the second half. The adjustments were made, much like Kentucky has, but the Longhorns responded. Great drive. Now, I mean, for all those fans out there that were hopeful that the Texas A&M game would be on Thanksgiving or early in the week, I mean, with Quinn Ewers banged up, all these injuries, you need as many days as you can before that ball game.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Great
mean, look, you're going into play A&M, and A&M's like, oh, you have an injured quarterback? We're bringing the house. I mean, because they're bringing it anyways, Rob. They don't have to bring the house to get pressure. But now, as aggressive as Elko is.
Yep. No, they can get organic pressure.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about them. And they can bow up against the run game, which has carried you in this matchup. I'm with you. That's on the road. You need Quinn as healthy as possible. So I'm with you. You need that extra time. All the time you can get.
Hey, Jerry, level of surprise that if I told you before the game that Texas would rush for 251 on Kentucky. 251.
I would have said Aaron's officially lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there was just that it's totally unexpected to that level. run and counter. I mean, and when Texas is running zone and counter effectively, I mean, then they saw something in the run game that I missed. That's for sure, and that's why they get paid a lot of money, right? But that's very surprising to me that they've run the ball this well in Kentucky. Kentucky's 26th ranked defense in college football.
No, this is a good defense. I've been telling you all week, like, this is actually a good defense. The one thing I think that's helped Texas is that, and I brought this up every week, Sark has been almost troubleshooting in the run game because they haven't had a bread and butter run concept they can depend on week to week. It usually has been the outside zone in previous years with Texas, with Bijan and Rojo and Jay Brooks. But because they haven't been able to rely on that consistently game to game, regardless of the matchup against opponent. He's been tinkering and troubleshooting with different things. Like last week against Arkansas, that buck sweep was working for him really well. And against Oklahoma, it was a split wide zone that worked really well. Like, it's just different things that are popping. And the hope is that now we're watching it all come together, since they've had so much variety in the run game, and they've had to, throw different concepts out there game to game and try to see what works and what's popping, that now they've become really good at a lot of different things, and that they are malleable enough now in the run game that no matter what you force them to do defensively, they can execute it effectively.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to take away the counter, you want to take away the outside zone, then you got to take away the inside zone. You can't take away everything. And now we may be watching the run game reach its maturity. That would be the hope. Because in this game, we've seen a lot of different schemes work for them in the run game.
By the way, Kentucky was giving up 138 yards per game on the ground this year. Texas 251.
And obviously, the big question after this ball game, the big question for the gamblers out there is, can the Texas defense score a touchdown to cover the number?
Yes, the over/under and the number. Yeah.
Boy, Michael Taft just got trucked right there, but he's a tough dude. We saw this in the 2-minute drill against Vanderbilt, and it got called back for roughing the passer, right? When Jelani McDonald or Kobe Black took it to the house. We'll see. Texas defense has been really, really good tonight. 1 touchdown drive, and the other one was set up by a turnover. There's Colin Simmons doing his best for you guys out there.
So Texas has 4 sacks right now. See if they get one more to hit that 5 number, which that was kind of discussion all week. Will Texas get 3, 4, 5 sacks?
Yeah. If they're in that NASCAR down, they can get a ton of them. And I believe they were in there because they had Jade inside.
Jade coming this time. There was the tip drill. That was the one. Oh, man. The gamblers out there, sports books were going crazy.
Yep.
Hunter Roberts in the chat. We're not sitting here saying Kentucky's a good team. What we are saying is they're a good defense, which they are. So go check the numbers. We're not saying they're a good team. They're 4-6. We're saying they're good on defense. Once they are, go check the numbers and get back to us.
Okay, 3rd 10 here. Obviously, this 2-down territory. Desperation for Kentucky. Approaching, this will be the last play before the 2-minute timeout. And it's pretty much official.
Yeah. Right, them footsteps.
All right, 2-minute timeout time, guys. And obviously the big question all week is going to be the health of Quinn now, right? How healthy can he get? The ankle obviously affected him. He only scored 7 second-half points. They had more turnovers than touchdowns in the second half, and Quinn did not look comfortable at all after, how many passing yards did Quinn have in the second half? It had to have been
I think 14. I think 14. Yeah. He had 177 in the first half, I believe.
14.
He had the screen completion to Gunnar Helm, and that was it.
Yep.
On a positive play. On a positive.
Well, there's going to be criticism, obviously, of Sark for sticking with it, but at the same time now, but they hold on in this game. he's going to be able to brag about a tough win and, winning when our quarterback wasn't 100% and our offense, picked it up on our offensive line, defense. But now you got to see if you can get, because my biggest complaint was Quinn getting hurt further ahead of the biggest game of the year, but looks like that's not going to happen. But we come back from this fourth down, or from this 2-minute timeout, it'll be 4th and 2, 4th and short, because this guy quarterback Boley's making some plays.
The Kentucky's got some hope for the future at the quarterback position with him. He has good feet. He moves well for a big kid. He's not a runner. He's a pocket guy that can move and extend plays to use his arm to finish plays. But look, young freshman quarterback, Kentucky's not going to have to go to the portal. So somebody's saying Arizona State just stormed the field. I mean, I'm all for that at Arizona State. That's a fun place. They can do it.
Scottsdale Road will be hopping tonight.
Boy, will it.
A good place to be, especially if you're young and single.
No comment.
No comment.
We'll be young and single. Still be young and single.
This is a good way for these seniors to go out, guys. I mean, so many guys honored before the game, and obviously Kelvin Banks and Quinn Ewers both participated in that. If you missed it earlier, Bert Auburn did not. So there's indication he may be. But do we know if Tia Savea went through the senior day today?
I think they're redshirting Tia. I'm pretty sure they're redshirt. Somebody's asking who the surprise visitor is. The defensive lineman Nathaniel Marshall from Chicago area, committed to Auburn, is on campus making an official visit this weekend. One of the top. Tape's tremendous. Not a kid I've followed a ton this year because he's been committed to Auburn. This Texas wasn't on him early, but watching him today, I mean, Nathaniel Marshall's a really talented kid. He's got a ways to go to fill out to be a 3-tech, 5-tech type of guy. He's probably 255 pounds. I saw him in person today, but man, he's athletic. But mom played basketball at DePaul. I think his grandfather played at Illinois and in the NBA. He's got those basketball feet. He plays some extra outside receiver, kind of like JT Sanders did in high school. They just throw him 50-50 jump balls. He's not JT. I'm not saying that, but they play him that way in high school. Then he plays middle backer. They play him at end. They line him up in a 3 technique and a 3-point stance. So really talented kid committed to Auburn. We'll see what happens. And by the way, Michael Fasusi was on campus, saw him. Jamie French was on campus, saw him. Myron Charles wasn't scheduled to get in. His flight was scheduled to get in at noon. He wouldn't have been at the stadium until probably 2-ish, 1:30 or 2. I did not see him. I was gone by that time. Hey, Roger G. So Nate Marshall visited us rather than Auburn. That has to look good for Texas. We shall see. By the way, Justice Terry's at Auburn today. That's a good sales pitch to Nathaniel Marshall. If you're Texas, hey man, Auburn's got, they got 5 guys committed right now, and they're still bringing in more, right? I mean, so so your recruiting pitch is back and forth.
Oh,
offsides that time, or false start by Kentucky. So now 4th and 7. Their desperation chance. Texas trying to get them off the field and get that 5th sack that you talked about, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the crazy thing. So you're going for this. I mean, Sark will take the knee, obviously. But what if they just bust a fit and you score on a run? Bettors win or lose.
I do like this quarterback, man. Texas might have been in trouble if they had started him in this game because he's much better than the other guy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. He makes plays, man. He's got a strong arm, too. I like it.
He does. He's tall.
Yeah. Great thing about bringing a quarterback, a freshman in like this, he has no cobwebs yet, right? So, I mean, like it's not like he's walking in here after he's had a rough season, he's got beat down all year. He's just walking here as a freshman, sees an opportunity.
Yep.
Well, that was not an opportunity. That was a run for your life, and there's a flag down. They're going to get roughing the passer again.
Ooh.
Oh, man, I don't know if that's roughing the passer. That seems –
yeah.
What are we doing here? I guess maybe because Colin Simmons got his hands on his helmet.
Man, I don't know. That's pretty nitpicky, man. I think his helmet hits the ground, but I don't see how that's excessive. I'm not.
Unless they're calling Simmons, they're calling Simmons because he got his hands up around his head. He didn't hit him, but
he didn't hit him.
No, that's ticky tack.
That's a bad call.
That's a terrible call. Still got the NASCAR down out there. They love it in this situation. 2-minute drill. Oh, nice throw.
Yeah, that was a real nice throw. Big tall kid got it behind the linebacker over Blackwell and in front of the safeties. Here comes Colin Simmons. Ball's out. Recovered by Kentucky, though.
Man,
and there's the 5th sack.
His BGL is crazy, though.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow. He is literally off the ball before everybody else. Sometimes before the O-linemen are out of their stance, he's already off the ball. Crazy.
And when he lines up on that side, he is a right tackle's worst nightmare.
Whew. Lord, man. And once he gets a counter, like a spin move to counter his speed rush, it's over.
Yeah.
Because you're going to overset him every damn time. You have to.
Doubt.
You have to.
Yeah. So that's 7 sacks for him now. That he continues to move up that list for true freshman at Texas.
Yeah, we said could he get double digits? They make a run in the playoffs. He's got a chance to get double digits. They got to make a run though. He needs like 4 more games.
Yeah, he does.
Hey guys, how bad will Oklahoma get beat tonight by Alabama?
Ooh, it's gonna be a butt whip. Oh, but that Oklahoma defense is still legit. Their offense is just inept. It's one of the worst offenses in the Power 4. It really is.
I say this, the interesting thing for me, Alabama's backers, Jihad Campbell and Deontay Lawson are absolute beasts. Can Oklahoma's offensive line do anything with them if they blitz those guys? Georgia couldn't in the first half of that game. That Oklahoma offensive line against those Alabama linebackers. Now, they lost their best outside backer for the season last week, but my gosh, I don't see how Oklahoma's offensive line is going to block those guys.
That's sack number 6 now as Trey Moore gets him one, and that's pinned your ears back.
Yep. And then
that poor right tackle is everybody's getting a turn on him.
Man.
I also saw this. We mentioned earlier, Rod, you weren't with us, but most explosive plays of 20 yards or more nationally, Texas is 3rd. Oklahoma is 132nd in explosive plays 20 yards or more.
Crazy, man.
So that sack by Trey Moores, that shows you why he will make it in the NFL, I think. Because, Rod, that's just a leverage play. That's a guy who plays with strength and power in his lower body. He's not the biggest guy, right? There's going to be most guys are going to be bigger than he is, but he has got a lot of power in that body.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you. I think he's a guy, and he's so consistent too. That's one thing about Trey Moore, man. He's been consistent all season. That's why, even though the splash plays came later, coaches were telling you, no, you got to watch the film. Yeah, guy is where he's supposed to be all the time.
Look at that stat line, guys, on defense for Anthony Hill. He's going to be he's up for the Butkus Award and all these awards, he and Jahdae Barron, but a 10 tackle, 2 sack, 3 for loss, 6 solo. Guy had himself a ball game.
Yes, he did.
Now, and there's another shot play. There's the pick. Ooh, Andrew Makuba. He's got a bet with Jahdae Barron for a season pick total number. I think they're tied now, 4 each.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. That NASCAR Dime is their best package. All their best playmakers on the field.
All right, Rod B., you got to get ready for post game.
All right, fellas. Good stuff. Appreciate y'all.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Longhorns will likely take knees, and I don't think Mark Stoops will take timeouts here. I think concession time is here, up 17 points. You're not going to get your cover if you took Texas in the 20 points. But the Longhorn defense continues with the turnovers. Boy, they survived a reckless and kind of Keystone Cop-ish third quarter there, Jerry, with all the fumbles and, Quinn obviously injured. I think there's a sigh of relief for Sark that they were able to, should not, that 15 play drive is, one for the ages, considering all the circumstances.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Major Alexander, what was your preseason total for Simmons sacks? I 6.5. I took the over, so we're right there. But I may be low. I was thinking like 6 or 7 on him. I think we went over 7 on him, but he's going to have a chance to get one next week too. He could end up with 8 regular season.
All right, you just mentioned Rod and Bobby and the crew coming up for the post game. A lot of conversation about Quinn. Next up, Jerry, it'll be Aggie Land next week. Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. And
happy Thanksgiving to you, and huge game for the Texas offensive line, and to get Quinn Ewers' ankle as healthy as possible.
Get him in the hot tub, in the cold tub tonight, all week long. Thanks to Texas Countertops, Grande Equipment, ATX Trees, and One Source Gas. Post-game show next. Appreciate you and Matthew. Everybody will do it next week in the biggest one of the year on the On Texas Football Watch Along. Post-game is next.